Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. I became stronger with Krypton gold, and I chose to be an alchemist. Chapter 61. Faced with Zhang Mubai's warning, the police patrols were terrified and ashamed. Yes, I respect the teachings of the city lord. Zhang Mubai slowly scanned the audience with awe-inspiring momentum. Remember me. Chen Fan is my greatest hope for the rise of Wuyang City. Whoever dares to attack him is my life and death enemy, Zhang Mubai. The police patrols present responded with a loud bang. Looking at Zhang Mubai, who was as majestic as a prison, the crowd onlookers were shocked by his aura, all were silent and looked in awe. After everyone came back to their senses, they whispered to each other and praised in a low voice. If the city lord values it so much, Chen Fan is really amazing. With such a strong city lord escorting him, coupled with his own talent that is so strong, Chen Fan will become a great talent in the future. The title of prince and king is just around the corner. Yes, such a genius, we can still talk to him on an equal footing now, and we can only look up to him in the future. Stop bragging, and talk on an equal footing. He is a second-rank alchemist. If you go to any aristocratic family as a guest, everyone will treat you warmly. Do you have the face? People are difficult not to dismantle, okay. The matter here is over. Zhang Mubai ordered the police patrols to clean up the scene, and then looked at Xiao Weiguang. Patriarch Xiao, are you still reluctant to leave? Xiao Weiguang bowed and bowed. City Lord, I will definitely go to the wasteland within 3 days, please rest assured. Xiao Wei then resigned. Zhang Mubai nodded expressionlessly. Xiao Weiguang saluted again, then slowly turned and left. Before leaving, he turned his head and glanced at Chen Fan. His eyes were very calm. There was no hatred in his eyes, only extremely serious, as if he wanted to keep Chen Fan's image in his heart. This look made Chen Fan's heart tremble. He immediately realized that this was a person who was extremely good at forbearance. That's right, Xiao Weiguang, as the patriarch of a family, how could he not have such a city? Because he underestimated himself, he suffered a big loss, and even his son died. Now the wisdom and character that belonged to the patriarch of the aristocratic family, has completely returned. Realizing this, Chen Fan felt strong alarm and fear. He stared closely at Xiao Weiguang's leaving back with a solemn expression. I and Xiao Weiguang have a feud against killing my son, between the two of them, I'm afraid they will die forever. Zhang Mubai dismissed Xiao Weiguang and showed Chen Fan an apologetic smile. Chen Fan, I am also responsible for today's matter. I thought that in Wuyang City under my control, no one would dare to attack you, ignoring your safety. He sighed. I really overestimated some people's brains and underestimated their madness. Zhang Mubai patted Chen Fan on the shoulder. I'll arrange experts to protect you in secret right away. Don't worry, it won't affect your life. Your parents and sister, I will also arrange people to protect them secretly. The Zhongbei training camp is about to open, so you can just go there with peace of mind. Chen Fan saluted Zhang Mubai sincerely. Thank you Uncle Zhang, thank you so much. Zhang Mubai laughed and reached out to support him. Since you call me Uncle Zhang, don't be so polite with me, or you will be too alien. Chen Fan smiled gratefully at him, thought about it, and decided to reciprocate. Tian Shi said. Uncle Zhang, this year's Zhongbei training camp, I will come back with a good ranking. Ginger Mubai rejoices. That's great, looking forward to your glorious return. He knew very well that Chen Fan's personality had always been down-to-earth and stable, and he was never a braggart. Since he dared to make such a guarantee, he must have quite a lot of confidence. When Chen Fan gets a good ranking in the training camp, at that time, he will show his face in front of the lord of the Zhongbei mansion. Thinking of this, Zhang Mubai stroked his chin happily. He suddenly remembered something, and hurriedly said, by the way, Chen Fan, I got news that the palace master has prepared a very precious treasure for this training camp. You strive to get that treasure, and the help to you will definitely exceed your imagination. Chen Fan asked curiously, what treasure is it? A trace of embarrassment flashed on Zhang Mubai's face. I tell you now, and it will destroy your sense of expectation. When you enter the training camp, you can find out by yourself. Chen Fan gave him a speechless look. Uncle Zhang, you don't actually know, do you? Zhang Mubai glared at him. You child, why are you so honest, why can't you save some face for Uncle Zhang? Chen Fan chuckled. the two looked at each other, and both laughed. A kind of atmosphere called kindness flows between the two. At this moment, the police patrols have packed up the scene and are ready to leave. Zhang Mubai then said, "Chen Fan, do you want me to take you home?" Chen Fan was taken aback, and quickly said, "No, no, no. I'll just go back by myself. You send me back, there's too much noise." Zhang Mubai laughed. "Then let someone else deliver it." He turned his head and said to an official master behind him, "Xiao Wu, you send Chen Fan back." This time Chen Fan didn't refuse anymore. It would be better if the city lord could feel at ease if he was sent by an expert from the government. In the car, Chen Fan closed his eyes and rested his mind, but his mood was still a little restless. Thinking of Xiao Weiguang's glance before he left, he felt a strong sense of crisis in his heart. There is no doubt that Xiao Weiguang has regarded himself as a lifelong enemy. With his mentality and means as the head of the Xiao family, what kind of means he will use to deal with himself in the future is really unpredictable. There is only 1,000 days to be a thief, there is no 1,000 days to defend against a thief. To guard against Xiao Weiguang's means, the most fundamental way is to make yourself stronger as soon as possible. Chen Fan clenched his fists, and suddenly opened his eyes. His eyes were as sharp as long as you are strong enough, no matter how strong the people he sends, come and kill one. Come and kill a pair. As long as you are strong enough, you can even make Xiao Weiguang not dare to plot against you. Because of Xiao Chen's matter, most of the day was wasted, and when Chen Fan got home, it was already time for dinner. Li Qingmei had already prepared dinner. Chen Dexing had also returned from get-off work. The couple were sitting on the sofa watching TV, waiting for Chen Fan to come back to eat together. Suddenly, the screen on the TV flickered and switched to the news screen. The following urgently inserts an important news. When Li Qingmei saw the critical point, she muttered dissatisfiedly, "It's a good show, what news is there?" Really, an extremely vicious assassination incident happened. Xiao Chen, the son of Xiao's parents, hired an assassin to assassinate his classmate Chen Fan on the street. Li Qingmei suddenly covered her heart and screamed. "What?" She subconsciously turned her head and saw Chen Fan standing right in front of her, and then she took a breath. Chen Dexing also stood up suddenly, looked at the TV, then at Chen Fan. His face was full of shock and anger. This person killed someone in the street, and then planted a frame to frame him. He committed a heinous crime. The just and wise city lord executed him and exiled the head of the Xiao family to the wilderness. Li Qingmei stared at the TV with wide eyes, and it took her a while to recover. She rushed to Chen Fan in 3 steps at a time, with a look of worry and fear. "Son, are you okay? Are you hurt?" Chen Dexing also came over and looked at him worriedly. Chen Fan hastily stretched out his hands and legs, making a casual expression, and said, it's okay, you see, I'm fine. Not a single hair is missing." After confirming that their precious son was indeed fine, the couple heaved a long sigh of relief. Li Qingmei's heart fell to the ground. She asked angrily and doubtfully, "What's going on? Why did that person kill you?" Chen Fan said, "Xiao Chen is jealous of me, and his character is too paranoid, and he has reached a dead end." He briefly told the 2 elders about the conflicts with Xiao Chen. After hearing the cause and effect of this incident, Li Qingmei was extremely angry. "My son is such a genius, that Xiao Chen himself has no talent, so he calls you cheating. It's really annoying. Isn't the Xiao family an aristocratic family? How could there be such a son?" Chen Dexing clenched his teeth and said angrily, "It is the aristocratic family that can teach such a rampant and reckless person. Killing people in the street is really insane. The city lord has done a good job. This kind of person should be killed." Li Qingmei suddenly remembered. The city lord rushed to rescue you personally, because he really values you. You have to work hard and strive to get a good ranking in the training camp, and don't let him down. Chen Dexing also nodded in agreement, but he immediately said, "However, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just do your best and have a clear conscience. Even if you don't get a good ranking, you don't need to have any psychological pressure." Li Qingmei also said, "That's the reason. No matter how talented a person is, there is a limit. Just try your best to do your best. Don't force yourself too much." Chen Fan smiled. "Dad, Mom, don't worry." He thought for a while, and took out his 2nd-grade alchemist badge. My going to the training camp to play for Wuyong City is second to none. What the city lord really values is my alchemy talent. Li Qingmei and his wife looked at the badge in front of them, and they were stunned for a while before they realized it, and they immediately revealed expressions of extreme surprise. Fan, you are already a second-rank alchemist. Like two children, the couple cheered and cheered for a long time before gradually calming down. Li Qingmei looked dazed. I've never doubted that my son is a genius, but I can't believe his genius to such an extent. Is this really my own? Chen Dexing was shocked. Such a young second-rank alchemist, is he ranked high in the history of Great Sha? Our family is going to produce someone who can be famous in history books. Chen Fan. Dad, only the dead can be included in the history books. Li Qingmei threw a sharp glance at him. Bah. Take back what you just said, how can you curse your own son? Chen Dexing laughed. So happy, forgot about this. At this time, the mobile phone rang suddenly. Chen Fan took it out and saw that it was Liang Yu calling. He got up and went to his room. I'll take a call. Li Qingmei reminded behind her. After answering the phone, go out and eat. Seeing Chen Fan shut the door tightly, Li Qingmei winked at Chen Dexing, with the expression of someone who came here. See, this must be the phone number of my future daughter-in-law. Chen Dexing nodded in agreement. It's the same way I answered your phone before. Li Qingmei blushed and gave him a blank look. Why bring up the past? Chen Dexing was just mentioning it in passing, but when he saw Li Qingmei's reaction, he blushed immediately. He scratched his head in embarrassment, showing a simple and honest smile. Liang family manor, in the spacious and luxurious living room. Liang Yu looked anxious and worried, and when she heard the call was connected, she immediately said, Chen Fan, are you okay? Are you injured? On the other end of the phone, Chen Fan chuckled. What's the matter with this tone of concern for your lover? Liang Yu blushed slightly, she bit her lip, with a bit of anger in her tone. I'm still in the mood to joke now, it seems you're fine. I'm worried for nothing. Chen Fan, it's something, I was scared to death just now, but after receiving your call, I'm not afraid anymore. Liang Yu's pretty face was blushing, she pouted dissatisfiedly, and whispered. Every day, I will talk nonsense, not like a serious person. Chen Fan said with a smile. You have wronged me, you know, I have always been very serious in front of others. Liang Yu held the phone for a while, and immediately understood another meaning of his words. He is very serious in front of others, but not serious to himself. Is this a veiled confession? She thought that when Chen Fan asked her to borrow money before, her joke about paying for it was actually a veiled confession. Liang Yu suddenly discovered that the two of them had a tacit understanding in confessing their love, and they both liked to choose a very new way. She was suddenly in a good mood, and she couldn't help but pursed her lips slightly, and a sympathetic smile appeared on her face. She glanced at her father, and hurried to suppress the expression on her face. Liang Jingxian, who was reading a newspaper on the sofa, moved his eyes slightly, with complicated emotions. It looks like you have a sweetheart at first sight. This is it. It's still hidden in front of my old father. He shook his head slightly and sighed inwardly. The women's university can't be controlled by the father, forget it, can't control it, can't control it. Liang Yu suddenly remembered something, and said to the other end of the phone with admiration. Congratulations, you are actually a second-rank alchemist. You are really talented. Chen Fan laughed. It's too much. Liang Jingxian, who was listening with his ears upright, shivered in shock. Chen Fan is already a second-rank alchemist. He tried his best to suppress the shock in his heart, took out his mobile phone and checked the news, and sure enough, he saw that there was a news report on this matter. Liang Jingxian's pupils were shocked, his expression horrified. What kind of genius is this? He didn't want to lose his composure in front of his daughter, and tried his best to suppress the turbulent waves in his heart. After a while, Liang Jingxian struggled to calm down. He took a deep breath, collected himself, and looked at Chen Fan's face on the news, the more satisfied he looked. So handsome, so talented, worthy of my daughter. Wait, why do I feel my daughter is a bit unworthy of him? If Liang Yu knew what her father was thinking now, she would probably boast sincerely. Well, sure, this is my dear father. On the phone, the two exchanged a few words casually, and Chen Fan said to Liang Yu, "Zhongbei training camp is about to start, you can prepare with peace of mind, I am already relatively confident, our rankings will definitely not be far behind, you don't need to be nervous." Liang Yu is very happy. "Really, that would be great. I'm not nervous. Go with you, you must be the main force, I just need to play support, simple and easy." Chen Fan laughed. "For the sake of you thinking so highly of me, I have to work harder and try to get 10th back." Liang Yu nodded vigorously. With you here, the number one must be yours." When his daughter hung up the phone, Liang Jingxian pretended to be unintentional and said, "I heard that Chen Fan is a second-grade alchemist. It just so happens that he is your classmate. You can invite Chen Fan to your house for a meal some other day, and introduce him as your father. This kind of genius is worth making friends with." Although Liang Jingxian said so, Liang Yu was keenly aware that her father already knew about her relationship with Chen Fan, and she blushed a little. She pretended to be natural and authentic. "Okay, I'll tell him another day." After finishing speaking, he went upstairs. Liang Jingxian glanced at his daughter's fleeing back, and smiled slightly. "Yo, I'm still shy. Chen family." In the room, Chen Fan hung up the phone and started to do the most important thing. Continue to Krypton gold. Today he took 100 Peiyuan pills to the Chamber of Commerce and sold them for 10 million. After the 7 million Krypton gold last time, there are more than 3 million left. The prize money is 30 million, adding up to a total of more than 43 million. Such a large sum of money is enough to increase his strength again. Chen Fan took out the third-grade alchemy technique and called the system in his mind. System, Krypton gold. Upgrade to third-grade alchemy. The voice of the system immediately sounded in my mind. Alchemy. Third-grade alchemy not learned, it takes 30,000 Krypton gold to reach the next level. Will Krypton gold be 30,000 yuan to raise the third-grade alchemy to the entry level? Yes, Krypton gold is successful, 30,000 yuan will be deducted, and the level of third-grade alchemy will be raised to beginner. In the next moment, massive memories flooded into Chen Fan's mind. This memory contains a lot of profound and mysterious alchemy knowledge, experience. Compared with the content contained in the second-grade alchemy, the content in this memory is much more complicated. After accepting this memory, Chen Fan immediately felt that compared with the previous second-grade alchemy, it seemed much simpler and shallower. This is just a third-grade alchemy technique, and there are still many stages to go up. The way of alchemy, the content is broad and profound, it is really vast like a galaxy. The deeper Chen Fan understands Dan Dao, the more he feels his ignorance. He calmed down his turbulent mood, collected himself, and said to the system, "Continue to Krypton gold. Krypton gold is successful, 300,000 yuan will be deducted, and the level of the third-grade alchemy will be raised to Shaocheng. Continue. Krypton gold is successful, 3 million yuan will be deducted, and the level of third-grade alchemy will be raised to Dacheng. Continue. Krypton gold is successful, 30 million yuan will be deducted, and the level of third-grade alchemy will be raised to perfection." Chen Fan closed his eyes, feeling the huge memory surging violently in his mind. After a long time, he slowly opened his eyes full of shock. Those exquisite theories, those unimaginable techniques, those extremely wonderful techniques. Third-grade alchemy has reached such an astonishing level. He felt that the third-grade alchemy had broken through an invisible barrier of alchemy, and had risen to a brand new realm. Break through to the third rank, and you will be a real middle-level alchemist. Compared with the low-level alchemists below the second rank, no matter in theory, technique, or in understanding the essence of alchemy, there has been a qualitative leap. Chen Fan went through the refining method of the second-grade Peiyuan pill in his mind. He suddenly discovered that in the eyes of himself who had become a third-rank alchemist, the refining method of the second-rank Peiyuan pill now seemed so crude and simple. This feeling of rapid improvement in alchemy strength is really satisfying. Chen Fan burst into ecstasy, and it took a while to calm down. He looked at the balance, and there were less than 10 million left over the 43 million just now. What a waste of money. Thinking about going to the Zhongbei training camp soon, he should improve his martial arts strength as much as possible. Chen Fan looked at his attribute panel, and found that he had less than 10 million in his hand, and the only one who could upgrade with Krypton Gold was Xiaocheng level Kaishan Fist. System: Krypton Gold. Upgrade Kaishenquan. Krypton Gold is successful. 2 million yuan will be deducted, and the level of Kaishenquan will be raised to Dacheng. Chen Fan glanced at the attribute panel again, and was immediately pleasantly surprised. Host: Chen Fan. Realm: Early Stage Martial Artist, 3rd Rank Alchemy Master. Strength: 300,000. Cultivation Method: Plowing the Sky Sword Intent. Mastery: to upgrade to the next level requires 30 million Krypton Gold. Martial Arts: Kaishenquan Dacheng needs 20 million Krypton Gold to upgrade to the next level. Bengyuan Swordsmanship Xiaocheng promoted to the next level, with a gold price of 50 million yuan. For Leiyan's Forging Body Ju Xiaocheng, 60 million yuan is needed to upgrade to the next level. Alchemy: 3rd grade Alchemy Consummation has been upgraded to the highest level. Danfang. Zhengqi Powder, Gathering Qi Pill, Peiyuan Pill. After Kaishan Fist was promoted to Dacheng, the combat power increased from 200,000 to 300,000. A small realm has increased the combat power by a full 100,000. This is the case with martial arts: the further you go, the harder it is to upgrade, but the greater the improvement in combat power. This is because I am only a martial artist at the initial stage, and the skills I have practiced are only at the proficient level. If it is a higher realm of martial arts, the skills are also upgraded to Xiaocheng and Dacheng. After the martial arts are upgraded, the increase in combat power is unimaginable. Feeling the surging power in his body, Chen Fan couldn't hold back his desire to try the power. He mobilized his true energy and punched casually. Call. It's like a giant mountain is bombarded out. Accompanied by a violent whistling, almost the air in the entire room was taken out of the window by this giant mountain. Click. The window that had just been repaired, this time it was directly broken. Crash. Driven by the violent gushing air, it was as if an invisible Tyrannosaurus rolled back and forth in the room several times, and various objects were staggered and scattered. Chen Fan was a little dumbfounded. The Dacheng level mountain opening fist is actually so powerful. He looked at the room that looked like a junkyard, and then at the windows that had been blasted into pieces, and the corners of his eyes twitched. I'm sorry, window, I let you bear everything again. This time the commotion was a bit big. Li Qingmei came running and knocked on the door. Fan, what are you doing? Are you tearing down the house? Chen Fan was taken aback. Mom, it's okay, I can take care of a little problem. Li Qingmei doesn't like this. Open the door quickly, let me see if you have demolished the house. Chen Fan struggled to no avail, so he resigned himself to his fate and went to open the door. Li Qingmei looked at the room that seemed to have been ravaged by a storm, and then at the window that had become a big hole, full of murderous aura. Is this the little problem you were talking about? Good guy, you demolished this house, and you are not even capable of doing 10 things. Chen Fan shrank his neck. Well, I'll find someone to replace the windows right away. Li Qingmei instantly transformed into a lion roaring in the east of the river. Quote exclamation mark. Quote. Chen Fan ran away. After going out, he hurried to the building materials market to find someone to change the windows at home. After finishing this important matter of life and death, Chen Fan diverted to the Alchemist Chamber of Commerce. The training camp is about to start, and in the next 2 days they should start to gather and set off. He is going to buy some medicinal materials and bring them there. He will make a big splash in the camp and empty out the wallets of those rich second generations. Chen Fan originally wanted to go to the training camp to buy medicinal materials. But thinking about it again, I don't know where the training camp is. If he chooses a barren mountain, where will he go to buy medicinal materials? Alchemist Chamber of Commerce. Seeing Chen Fan, Qian Jun immediately came out from behind the counter, trotted over, and smiled very affectionately, as if seeing his relatives. Brother Chen, you are here. Chen Fan smiled and nodded. Ah Jun, bring me some herbs. Chen Fan reported a lot of medicinal materials to him. Qian Jun listened and memorized. When Chen Fan reported the next few herbs, he was shocked. Brother Chen, are these medicinal materials used to refine third-grade elixirs? You. Chen Fan didn't want to make too much noise, so he casually said. I used it to practice my hands, and I didn't expect to be successful. Qian Jun nodded suspiciously. Oh, like this. The batch of medicinal materials that Chen Fan bought included first grade, second grade, and third grade elixirs. There were many types, and the sum was quite a lot. To buy this box of medicinal materials, Chen Fan spent all of the less than 8 million yuan left on hand, leaving only a little bit of change. The most important ones are the medicinal materials for refining the third-grade elixirs, which are really expensive. When I went to the training camp, I must ruthlessly slaughter those rich second generations, so that my wallet can be revived with blood. Chen Fan looked at the dying balance, thinking viciously. Early the next morning, the city lord Zhang Mubai personally called. Chen Fan, the training camp is about to start. Our Wuyang city students are leaving today. The meeting point is at the square in front of the city lord's mansion. You pack up and come here quickly. Chen Fan immediately replied, Okay Uncle Zhang, I'll be right over. Zhang Mubai remembered something, and said, Oh, by the way, the government experts who secretly protect your family are already in place. You don't have to worry about their safety. Go to the training camp, just perform with peace of mind and strive for good grades. Chen Fan was very happy and grateful. Thank you so much Uncle Zhang. Zhang Mubai laughed. See you again, haven't you? Okay, don't talk anymore, come here after you pack up. After hanging up the phone, Chen started to pack his luggage. His things are very simple, some change of clothes, a little spare elixir, nothing else. If he packs more, he just puts it in a box. After thinking about it, he put the Baihong sword he bought at the Martial Arts Chamber of Commerce into it, just in case it was needed. Together with the wooden box full of medicinal herbs, Chen Fan's luggage consists of these 2 boxes in total. Knowing that Chen Fan is about to leave for the training camp, Li Qingmei is a little bit sad and worried. Fan, you went to the training camp, remember to take care of yourself, especially to eat on time, when the show gets busy and forgets to eat. I don't know where this training camp is. If it's in a mountain, remember to protect yourself from mosquitoes, or you won't be able to sleep well at night, which will affect your performance. Have you brought any mosquito repellent? Oh yes, and Chen Dexing couldn't bear to listen anymore. Okay, Fan is not a child anymore, he is such a genius, he can still be stumped by such a trivial matter, don't worry about it. Li Qingmei glared at him. What's wrong with geniuses? Geniuses know everything. Being reprimanded by Li Qingmei, Chen Dexing didn't dare to speak again. Chen Fan can't laugh or cry. Mom, don't worry, going to the training camp is not going to jail. Everything that should be prepared will be prepared in the training camp. If there is something missing, I can just go and buy some. Chen Guogo rushed forward and hugged Chen Fan's arm, a little reluctantly. How long will it take you to come back? Chen Fan said. I don't know that either. Chen Guogo sighed, feeling a little depressed. Oh, well, remember to call back when you are free, lest parents worry. Looking at Chen Guogo who looks like a little adult, Chen Fan pinched her little nose with a smile. Understood, don't worry, you study and practice hard at school, and I will check your homework when you come back. Chen Guogo stared at him arrogantly. No inspection, you are not my mentor. Before Chen Fan could say anything, Li Mei slapped Chen Guogo on the head. A genius like your brother checks your homework, and others don't know if you ask for it. Do you still despise it? Chen Guogo pouted aggrievedly. No. Chen Fan didn't know whether to laugh or cry, and took out a box of pills that had been prepared for her. Look at your mouth, pouty, oil bottles can be hung on it. Quote. After taking the box and opening it, Chen Guogo immediately became happy. Thank you brother. Inside the box are primary qi gathering powder and first grade qi gathering pill, which are suitable for Chen Guogo who is in the martial arts realm. These pills are all refined by Chen Fan himself, and they have been specially prepared. Not only do they not have erysipelas, but the quality is even higher than the previous top-grade pills, which cannot be bought in the market at all. Before he was about to leave, Chen Fan thought about it, and then yelled at his parents and sister. During this period of time, try not to go to places with too many people and clutter. Those messy places, the environment is too complicated. If something happens, I'm afraid that the official experts sent by the city lord will not be able to take action in time. But don't worry too much. When Xiao Weiguang goes to the wasteland, this matter will be completely settled. He was worried that Xiao Weiguang would suddenly lose his mind, so he sent experts from the Xiao family to target his family at the risk of being exterminated by the city lord. Although this possibility is extremely small, it cannot be ignored. It's about the safety of your family, so you can't be too cautious. Li Qingmei and his wife didn't panic at all. You are too cautious. With such strict protection from the city lord, I think he is crazy to send someone to harm us. Chen Fan thought to himself, I am just afraid that he will go crazy suddenly. If he is not crazy, of course I don't have to worry about anything. Chen Guogo nodded obediently. Don't worry bro, I won't go anywhere except school and home. Chen Fan stroked her little head in satisfaction. It's my sister who makes me worry the most. Chen Guogo narrowed her eyes with satisfaction, and giggled silly. On the square in front of the city lord's mansion, in front of the High Nobita's city lord hall. More than 100 students with extraordinary temperament gathered in front of the hall, waiting for everyone to arrive. These are gifted students selected from various high schools in Wuyong City, and all of them are the pride of heaven in their own school. Almost everyone has arrived, including several students from Shanhua Middle School, the strongest in Wuyong City, who also arrived just now. The city lord, Zhang Mubai, stood under the eaves of the main hall, surrounded by several tutors from various middle schools. He was chatting with them one after another, but his eyes looked outside the square from time to time. When he saw that familiar figure, Zhang Mubai's eyes lit up, and he said to the mentors around him, "Wait a minute, I'll pick someone up." After speaking, he walked over impatiently. The students in front of the main hall saw the city lord hurriedly walking to the outside of the square, and they all went to see a doctor in the direction he was walking. Everyone looked at the boy dragging 2 big boxes with shocked expressions. My God, who is that person? The city lord actually greeted him in person. Good Lees. You don't know him. That's Fanshan from Dixing Middle School. Hold the grass, is it a mortal god? That's all right. A mortal god? Which mortal god? Which one else could it be? The talented second-rank alchemist who overwhelmed Yan Shizhen. In the final assessment, it was the fierce man from Tianyi who punched him. Hiss, it's him. No wonder the city lord values it so much. Zhang Mubai strode up to Chen Fan. Come on, let me help you with your luggage. Chen Fan hastily declined. No need, Uncle Zhang, the luggage is not heavy, so I can do it myself. Zhang Mubai glared at him. You're being polite to me again. 2 such big boxes, even if they're not heavy, are inconvenient to carry. Come, give me one. As he spoke, he snatched a box involuntarily. Chen Fan had no choice but to let him go. He looked at the sky, and said a little embarrassedly. I'm sorry, Uncle Zhang, I'm late and there's a traffic jam on the road. Have you been waiting for a long time? Zhang Mubai shook his head disapprovingly. It's not too late, it's still a while before departure, it's useless to come early. Liang Yu happily greeted her from the crowd. These days, Chen Fan was preparing for the training camp at home. She was afraid of disturbing Chen Fan, so she never went to look for him. 2 days ago, I learned that Chen Fan had been assassinated. Even though I knew he was fine, I still felt restless for a long time. Seeing him now, I couldn't hold back my joy anymore. She rushed over like a butterfly, hugged Chen Fan, and jumped with joy. Chen Fan, I haven't seen you for many days. Seeing Liang Yulian's expression, Chen Fan felt a warm current in his heart. He hugged Liang Yu Yingying's slender waist, and looked at her with a smile on his face. Is this missing me? Liang Yichao blushed slightly, lowered her eyes a little shyly, pursed her red lips, and said bluntly. Yeah, don't you miss me? Chen Fan laughed. Of course I want to. Everyone looked at this scene with complicated expressions. Didn't you go to the training camp together? We came here to see you 2 spreading dog food. Chen Fan took Liang Yu's hand and stood in front of the crowd. Chen Fan big brother. Accompanied by a clear and somewhat sweet voice, Feng Zheng ran over vigorously, hugged Chen Fan's arm, raised his small face, and looked at him with admiration. Chen Fan big brother, you are so powerful, you are already a second-rank alchemist. Chen Fan said with a smile. So, how are you preparing for this training camp, Zheng? Feng Zheng waved her fist confidently. In the past few days, I have broken through a small realm again. Entering the training camp, I want to blow up the audience. The people in the square burst into a burst of good-natured laughter. Domineering. Little Feng Zheng, come on. I like you. Feng Zheng is a genius in martial arts. It is definitely not bragging to say that he blows up the audience. Good job, short man with high ambition. Feng Zheng immediately wrinkled her delicate nose. Whoever is short, I will grow taller in the future. She glared viciously at the person who said this, but unfortunately, her big watery eyes really didn't have any deterrent power. Chen Fan smiled and rubbed her short fluffy hair. Then I'll wait for Zheng to bring you and me, Sister Yuyu, to blow up the audience together. Liang Yu also smiled and chimed in. Zheng, you are the main force, Sister Yuyu will assist you. Feng Zheng propped up his waist, his face was full of confidence. Good. After a while, the last few people who hadn't arrived also rushed over. Seeing that everyone has arrived, Zhang Mubai began to give explanations and lectures before leaving. Everyone, you are all the top elites selected by each high school, a genius who is selected among thousands of miles. However, after entering the Zhongbei training camp, all of your opponents are also geniuses. Just because you are qualified to enter the camp, it doesn't mean you will be cultivated. The previous Zhongbei training camps had an average elimination rate of more than 60%, and the rest had to be ranked, and only the top-ranked top talent group would be focused on training. So, the challenges you face cannot be underestimated. Hearing this, dignified expressions appeared on the faces of everyone. Yeah, the one who can enter the Zhongbei training camp, isn't that a top-notch genius? My own strength is rare in this school, and when I get there, it is really hard to say how outstanding it is. It seems that we must go all out and never underestimate the enemy. Zhang Mubai glanced at the students below, saw that most of them were dignified, and smiled slightly. Zhongbei training camp is very competitive, but if you can get a good ranking, the rewards are also generous. It's richer than you can imagine. Hearing this, everyone's eyes lit up immediately, and their eyes showed anticipation. Zhang Mubai didn't give a word, and shouted. I just got the news that our Zhongbei mansion master paid a big price this time. It is said that the reward contains blood essence from demons from all races. The one with the highest ranking can get the blood essence of a Grand Master, or even a Grand Master monster. There was a commotion among the crowd, and everyone was surprised. The blood essence of a Grand Master, or even a Great Master level monster, is a very precious medicinal material. After refining and taking it, it can greatly strengthen the body and greatly enhance the combat power. It can even make the body undergo a radical change, and improve the physical qualifications to a higher level. Such things as aptitude have always been innate. If you have it, you have it. If you don't have it, you don't have it. It is predestined. However, the blood essence of a high-level demon can improve one's aptitude, so one can imagine its preciousness. Everyone's expressions were excited, and they only felt that their fighting spirit was passionate. Chen Fan stood in front of the crowd, thoughtful. The blood essence of a great master-level monster. Not bad. Zhang Mubai hooked the corner of his mouth and added another fire. It is said that if you win the first place, you will be rewarded with the blood essence of a Fenghu-level monster. The crowd suddenly went into an uproar. Fenghu grade essence blood. My god. This level of blood essence is very precious to a master of the general level, right? The blood essence of a Fenghu level monster, what is the difference between this and the god's elixir? My god, the owner of the plaque is too proud this time. I'm so willing. Everyone whispered to each other, and they were all dirty. Although they didn't have any extravagant hopes for the first place, after all, there are mortal gods, so no matter what they can't talk about themselves. But such a generous reward still made everyone excited. Chen Fan's expression was also a little shocked. The blood essence of a Fenghu-level demon is simply a priceless treasure. Even if it is put on the scale of the entire Jiangnan province, it can cause a huge sensation. He clenched his fist slightly, his eyes like lightning. For such a precious reward, this first place, you have to get it no matter what. Zhang Mubai was very happy to see the high fighting spirit on Chen Fan's face. This Zhongbei training camp, he values Chen Fan the most. Seeing that Chen Fan decided to take it seriously, he immediately felt that his ranking in this training camp was secure. Zhang Mubai raised his hand and pressed down, signaling the excited people to be quiet. However, students, don't be too happy too soon. Zhongbei training camp offers rich rewards, but the dangers are not small. In previous training camps, the average death rate has reached 10%. Don't take it lightly. Hearing this, everyone immediately looked at each other with a terrified expression. Zhang Mubai's eyes flashed, and he said, "Students who are afraid, you can quit now. If you are selected for the Zhongbei training camp, you can also choose to give up your quota BGCG. This is not compulsory. You don't have to have any worries. As the city lord, I assure you that you will not be punished or blamed if you quit this training camp. If you want to quit, please come out. Everyone, you look at me, and I look at you." For a long time, but no one came out. There was a determined look on everyone's face, and their eyes looked death at home. "My lord, we are not afraid of death." Yes, people of martial arts, how can they be afraid of death? A mere 10% death rate is nothing. We may not be the strongest, but we are not afraid of death. Zhang Mubai was extremely pleased, and stared at the group of young geniuses in front of him with admiration. Good, very good, ha ha ha. The heart is firm and resolute, fearless and fearless, everyone is a good talent. With talents like you, why can't my Wuyang city be prosperous, and my great Shah can't be strong? Looking at the high morale of the crowd, Zhang Mubai made a final confession. This time represent Wuyang city in the training camp, with Chen Fan as the captain. Everyone must obey his management and command, and no one is allowed to act without authorization. Any questions? The crowd responded loudly. No problem. The city lord made the right arrangements. Every god is the captain, of course, who has the right to object? Exactly. With the strength of a mortal god, he is enough to beat all of us, so of course he should be the captain. Where God is the captain, I am absolutely convinced. Before the crowd, Liang Yu looked at Chen Fan and exclaimed softly. Tisk tisk tisk, your prestige is extraordinary, these are all geniuses from other schools, yet everyone respects you. Feng Zheng hugged Chen Fan's arm, his eyes were shining, and he looked like a little girl. Who is Chen Fan big brother so amazing? Liang Yu looked at Chen Fan with a half smile. Looking at this, you must have many little girls in other schools, right? Chen Fan plays dumb decisively. I don't know, I've never been to any other school. Seeing that the students below were convinced by Chen Fan, Zhang Mubai nodded in satisfaction. Since there is no problem, then get ready to go. Chen Fan, come with me, I will tell you something alone. Chen Fan hurriedly followed. Zhang Mubai took Chen Fan aside. For this training camp, our students from Wuyang City will take the same train as the students from Ba'an City and go there together. Chen Fan nodded and didn't care. Ba'an City and Wuyang City are adjacent to each other, and it is normal for students from the two cities to go there together. Zhang Mubai said again, what I want to tell you is that Ba'an City and our Wuyang City have always been difficult to deal with at the official level. In recent years, we in Ba'an City have often fought in many aspects, and the ranking of the training camp is also a focus of the battle between the two sides. Chen Fan was a little surprised. Is there such a thing? He has lived in Wuyang City for so many years, but he has never heard of this. But it's not surprising if you think about it, it's normal for ordinary people like him to have no access to the battles at the official level. Zhang Mubai nodded. This year's training camp, we fought with Ba'an City again, this time it was even more exaggerated, we almost got into a fight over the departure by car. Ba'an City doesn't want to leave behind us, I have to save face for Wuyang City, if I start after them, those below me will scold me to death. Chen Fan. Zhang Mubai continued. So, in the end, this is the current situation. You and the students from Ba'an City share a first-class compartment equally, and one side occupies one side of the seats on both sides. Chen Fan. Why does it feel like an official is acting like a child? Seeing the expression on Chen Fan's face, Zhang Mubai could tell what he was thinking at a glance. He shook his head disapprovingly. You don't understand. These things seem naive, but there are reasons behind them. Face, fame, prestige, these things are sometimes more important than you think. Chen Fan nodded helplessly. Uncle Zhang. Zhang Mubai said again. In this situation, if you meet the students from Ba'an City, there may be conflicts. I called you here to remind you not to take the initiative to provoke trouble, but if the people in Ba'an City provoke you, don't be polite, just call me back, don't be polite to them. I will take care of you if there is anything. Chen Fan looked at Zhang Mubai with relief. That's pretty much the same. This is my domineering and tough Uncle Zhang. Zhang Mubai didn't know whether to laugh or cry, and glared at him. You boy, you are becoming more and more shameless in front of me. Chen Fan smiled. You don't need to be polite to you, this is what you said, Uncle Zhang. After bidding farewell to Zhang Mubai, Chen Fan took the more than 100 gifted students from Wuyang City to the high-speed rail station. The camp of the training camp this time is in Jing'an City, the capital of Zhongbei Prefecture. Just take the high-speed train directly there, and the ticket has been bought in advance by the City Lord's mansion. The City Lord's mansion arranged several luxury buses to take everyone to the station. The body of the bus is very wide, and there are 3 seats on both sides. Liang Yu chose a row of seats, sat in the innermost seat, and waved to Chen Fan. Chen Fan, sit here. Chen Fan naturally had no objection and sat down casually. Feng et al. Have been holding Chen Fan's arm like a hand pendant. She nimbly jumped onto the empty seat beside Chen Fan, and was surrounded by the big and thick body. With the lining of the bus seat, the whole person looks even smaller. Chen Fan glanced at her, and suddenly found that after Feng Zheng sat up, his legs were a long way from the ground. This little short leg, sitting side by side with Chen Fan on the bus, Liang Yu felt as if she was traveling with Chen Fan, and she couldn't help feeling in a good mood. She hugged Chen Fan's arm and leaned her head on his shoulder intimately. A ray of faint fragrance got into Chen Fan's nose, which lifted people's spirits. Feng Zheng, who is too young and ignorant of things, doesn't really understand the special meaning of doing this action with the opposite gender. She followed suit and leaned her head on Chen Fan's shoulder. And then, she found herself out of reach. Seeing this scene, Liang Yu burst out laughing. Feng Zheng was suddenly unhappy. She dangled her short legs and muttered angrily. Why am I so short? Chen Fan suppressed a smile and comforted her with what she said. Neither short nor short, our Zheng will grow taller in a few years, and we will definitely be a slender and tall beauty by then. Feng Zheng was healed immediately. She was happy again, her face was raised with pride. I'm a big beauty now. Chen Fan thought about it for a while, and still felt that it is not good to deceive children, so he told the truth. No, you can only be considered a little beauty now. Feng Zheng looked at his little arms and legs, frowned and thought for a while, and seriously agreed. Oh, she is indeed a little beauty. Chen Fan rubbed her little head. Don't worry, you are growing your body, and your body is growing very fast. Maybe one day you don't pay attention, and you suddenly realize that you have become a big beauty. Feng Zheng imagined that scene, and suddenly felt so happy, he couldn't help but giggled. Liang Yu looked at Chen Fan with a half smile. You have a talent for comforting young lady. Chen Fan said by the way. It's okay, do you want me to comfort you? Liang Yu rolled her eyes, and leaned into Chen Fan's ear with a smile. What kind of comfort do you mean? Chen Fan froze for a moment before realizing that his eyes widened in shock. Hold the grass. Is it so fierce? Ha 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 ha. Liang Yu looked at Chen Fan's stunned expression, and suddenly laughed out loud. A car of students in the car silently watched Chen Fan hugging left and right, talking and laughing happily with the two beauties, and felt extremely complicated. What crime have we done, to be stuffed with this mouthful of dog food? City Lord's mansion, City Lord's office. After seeing off Chen Fan and his group, Zhang Mubai smiled and called the deputy City Lord. I'm going to Zhongbei training camp to have a look. During this period of time, the big and small affairs in Wuyang City will make you tired. The deputy City Lord was a little surprised. City Lord, you go there in person. Isn't this battle too big? Zhang Mubai waved his hand indifferently. Whatever it is, if I go there in person, won't it be a better indication of the importance our Wuyang City attaches to this training camp? Besides, this time we will definitely achieve good results in Wuyang City. When the time comes, some people's jaws will definitely drop. Such a good opportunity to show off, how can I not go? I have to appreciate the stunned looks of those people, it must be very interesting, ha 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 ha. Hearing what Zhang Mubai said, the deputy city lord immediately agreed. That's the way to go, he said with some emotion. Our Wuyang City has not achieved good results in the training camp for many years, this time we must feel proud. Ding 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 ding. The phone in the city lord's office suddenly rang. Zhang Mubai picked up the phone, and there was a voice he was all too familiar with. Xiaobai, have the students sent by Wuyang City to the Zhongbei training camp set off yet? The person who called was Yang Xuans, the commander of the Zhenbei army stationed in Zhongbei Mansion. He is Zhang Mubai's boss and the previous city lord of Wuyang City. The two have a close relationship. In private, Zhang Mubai calls him Uncle Yang. Zhang Mubai showed a friendly smile. Yes, Uncle Yang. He is like a child showing off his good things in front of his elders. Uncle Yang, let me tell you, this training camp, our Wuyang City will definitely get unprecedented good results. I'm planning to go there too. I'm going to the scene to enjoy the wonderful scene of our Wuyang City proud. Ha 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 ha. On the other end of the phone, Yang Xuan's voice was steady and calm. Don't go, I'll go. Zhang Mubai's laughter stopped abruptly. What? On the other end of the phone, in Yang Xuan's steady voice, there was a hint of a meaningful smile. What's the matter? Is there a problem? There is such a talented genius in Wuyang City, and you didn't even inform me, the previous city lord, what a waste of time. If you don't notify me, then I can only go and see for myself. The talk about people taking tea to cool down has reached this point. What else can Zhang Mubai do? He could only suppress the pain in his heart and say, I was negligent, I'm really sorry, then you can go for me. Yang Xuan said with satisfaction. That's about the same. Zhang Mubai did not give up, thought for a while and asked. Uncle Yang, didn't you bring Zhenbei Shi to guard the border? Can you get away with it? Yang Xuan smiled proudly. Why can't I get away? Those fools of the Wanzhou have been beaten to the bum by me, and they don't even dare to approach my Zhenbei army. I have a lot of free time every day. Ginger Mubai. Yeah, if you want to talk about cows, it has to be you. On the phone, Yang Zhanxi changed the subject. Xiaobai, do you think that I won't come back anyway, so why don't you tell me? You underestimate people, don't you? Am I such a waste in your heart? Zhang Mubai hastily denied. How can it be, Uncle Yang, I really forgot. I don't have your ability, just taking care of Wuyang City has already made me dizzy, and I often forget things easily. Yang Zhanxi laughed. Forget it, I won't argue with you. He turned the topic to Chen Fan. Tisk tisk tisk, early stage martial artist. Second rank alchemist, and he just came of age. What kind of monster is this? Such an evildoer, after entering the training camp, he has to kill everyone. You said that when I was the city lord of Wuyang City, why didn't I come across such a rare treasure? You boy, how lucky you are. Zhang Mubai suppressed the pride in his heart, and said modestly. Where is it? This is also when you, Uncle Yang, laid down the background for Wuyang City when you were in office, so that Wuyang City can produce such a genius. Yang Xuan laughed boldly. You boy, in front of me, this scene is still a set of words. Don't worry, I won't take away your great credit for recommending talents. Zhang Mubai looked serious. Well, what I said is all the truth. Yang Zhanxi sighed leisurely. When I was the city lord back then, every time the Zhongbei training camp opened, it was a time when I lost face. On this matter, how many years have I been ridiculed by those fools? Thinking about it now makes me angry. This time I have Chen Fan, a rare treasure. I want to get back all the face I lost back then. Having said that, Yang Xuan burst into a burst of wild laughter. Those fools thought they were sure to win the rankings, but they were defeated. When the time comes, I don't know what their expressions will be. This expression must be very funny, I can't wait to see it with my own eyes. Ha 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 ha. Quote. This should be my pleasure. My heart hurts. After gloating, Yang Xuan seemed to suddenly remember something. It seems that my rival's grandson is also participating this year. I wonder if he is as good as Chen Fan. Well, I can just drop by and have a look. Wuyang City High-Speed Railway Station, Waiting Hall. Chen Fan led more than 100 students who participated in the training camp, lined up in a line, and walked in an orderly manner. He walked at the front of the line, Liang Yu walked on his left, their hands were held together, fingers intertwined, others could tell they were a couple at a glance. Feng Zheng walked on Chen Fan's right with short legs. Chen Fan also held her little hand, just like a brother taking a young sister on a long trip. Such a team made up of students immediately attracted the attention of the waiting passengers. Chen Fan, who walked in the front, was quickly recognized. Look, that's Chen Fan, the super genius who passed the second-grade alchemist certification a few days ago. The passengers suddenly became commotion, and gathered around to watch. Sure enough, he is very young. Such a young second-rank alchemist. He is worthy of being a famous mortal god. And he's a genius in martial arts. In the final assessment of the Emperor Star Middle School, he got first place in both culture and martial arts. Tisk tisk tisk, it's really amazing. Emperor Star is a school ranked in the top 3, to be able to get the double first place, this is strong enough. That's right, Chen Fan was selected for the Zhongbei training camp. The students he brought in are the geniuses selected from various high schools to fight for our Wuyang city. Yes, it's them. No wonder these students look unusual. Huh, Chen Fan went to the training camp, why did he take his sister with him? Are you blind? That little girl is wearing the uniform of Emperor Star Middle School. She should also be attending the training camp. What? This girl looks so small. It's very popular for geniuses to skip grades, do you understand? How many times do you skip grades in a row? Isn't that the way it is? Feng Zheng's ears are very sharp, and he heard these discussions clearly. She poked her head out beside Chen Fan and made faces at the passengers who were talking about her, looking cute and mischievous. Someone suddenly shouted at Chen Fan and his group. Come on. Other passengers followed suit. Come on, come on. You are the hope of our Wuyang city. Fan Shen and all geniuses. I wish you sweep the training camp. Fantasy God, you will be ashamed of our Wuyang city. Chen Fan led the team members and waved to the enthusiastic passengers to express his gratitude. Zhang Mubai specifically confessed that as soon as Chen Fan led the team into the station, staff immediately came to greet them and arranged them in the VIP waiting room specially reserved for them. However, the group didn't stay here for long. Soon, the train pulled into the station. Under the guidance of the staff, everyone went to the boarding gate to check their tickets and get on the train. After entering the first-class car, everyone was busy looking for seats and putting luggage. After everyone sat down according to the seats in the upper row of the ticket, they immediately discovered a very miraculous thing. This first-class car is bounded by the corridor, and everyone's seats are on the same side, and the other side is empty, with no one there. Someone asked Chen Fan curiously. Brother Fan, do you know this is the only thing? Chen Fan explained. This train will stop at Ba'an City, and the seats over there are reserved for the teams going to the training camp in Ba'an City. Why? Everyone suddenly nodded. That's right, I said. These students didn't know about the battles between Ba'an City and Wuyang City, so they didn't care. Only Liang Yu frowned slightly, obviously knowing something. Soon, the high-speed train departed. The high-speed rail drove out of the station smoothly, and the speed became faster and faster. It didn't take long before it left Wuyang City and entered the boundary of Ba'an City. When leaving Wuyang City, Chen Fan glanced back, feeling slightly moved in his heart. After living in this world for so many years, this is the first time I have left Wuyang City. In this era, due to the pressure of the demons of all races, the security in Daxia is also very strict, and the flow of people between cities is not frequent. Like Chen Fan, many students in the team are going out of Wuyang City for the first time. Many people stuck to the window glass, looking at the scene of Ba'an City with great interest. Looking at the unfamiliar Ba'an City, Chen Fan suddenly remembered a question that he had neglected before. I am very famous in Wuyang City, but outside of Wuyang City, no one knows me, and naturally no one knows my strength. So, after entering the Zhongbei training camp, how can I convince those rich second generations that the elixir I sell is genuine and not a bluff? Chen Fan thought that he could give the elixir to others for free to test the effect first. With the effect of his own elixir, it would definitely spread the word, and it would soon become popular. But he shot down the idea right away. Medicinal pills are not other things, the effect is not sure, who would dare to take them indiscriminately? What's more, in a place like the training camp, except for your own team members, everyone is a competitor. Who would take the pills given by the opponent casually without fear of being tricked? Chen Fan pondered for a long time, but he couldn't come up with any good solution. The only feasible way was to find an opportunity to gain some fame and make others believe in his own strength. The name of a person, the shadow of a tree. As long as the reputation is big enough, even if others have not seen their strength with their own eyes, they will choose to believe it unconditionally. As the city lord said before, things like fame and prestige are really important sometimes. Without this thing, things will be much more troublesome. Seeing Chen Fan frowning in thought, Liang Yu asked with concern. Chen Fan, what's the matter? Have you encountered any problems? Chen Fan came back to his senses and shook his head. It's okay, I've figured out a solution. Liang Yu carefully looked at the expression on Chen Fan's face, seeing that he was really not worried, so she felt relieved. She covered her mouth and yawned, with sleepy eyes. I tend to get sleepy after a long time in the car. I'll take a nap, and if you have something to do, just shake me up. Chen Fan nodded. Well, go to sleep. Liang Yu didn't lean on the back of her chair, but leaned into his arms, resting her head on Chen Fan's shoulder. Chen Fan was afraid that she would slip, so he quickly stretched out his hand to support her waist. Liang Yu twisted a bit, found a comfortable angle, and closed her eyes beautifully. Feng Zheng seemed to have been reminded, and whispered to Chen Fan. It's time for me to take a nap too. I want to sleep with Chen Fan big brother on my pillow. Chen Pillow Fan. ... Okay, come here. Feng Zheng leaned his small body over happily, snuggled into Chen Fan's arms, and narrowed his big watery eyes in such comfort. Chen Fan was afraid that she would slip and fall, so he reached out and put his arms around her shoulders. At some point, the train slowly entered the station, and after a while, a group of students entered the train compartment, obviously the team from Ba'an City going to the training camp. The students in Wuyang City took the initiative to say hello. Hello, we are from Wuyang City. In the team of Ba'an City, some students also responded sporadically. However, Chen Fan noticed that a few students seemed to be very arrogant, with cold faces and expressionless faces, and they didn't even glance at the students in Wuyang City. He glanced at it and said nothing. Suddenly, a strange voice sounded. Tisk tisk tisk, look at this hugging left and right. It's no wonder that Wuyang City's results in every training camp are at the bottom. So you guys are here to enjoy it. As soon as these words came out, there was a sudden silence in the carriage. The students in the compartment all looked at the man who spoke. The two girls who had just fallen asleep for a while were also woken up by the sound. Chen Fan turned his head and saw a man with a haughty expression standing in the corridor next to him, with his hands folded and looking at him with disdain. Yu sat up straight and frowned. She glanced at this man, and when she thought of his eccentric tone just now, she immediately felt angry. Liang Yu stared at this man with a cold face. I'm sleeping, and you're running around chattering, are you sick? Do we know you? Feng Zheng, who was woken up, was also very unhappy. Her face was full of disgust, and she spit at the man directly. Bah, what a nuisance. Chen Fan patted the shoulders of the two girls, signaling them to stop talking and let him handle it. He stood up slowly, looked at the arrogant man in front of him, frowned and asked. Who are you? The man raised his chin. The captain of the Ba'an City student team, Wu Feng. Chen Fan nodded and said calmly. Wu Feng, I know that it's easier for people to be jealous if I hug each other. 0. But I still trouble you to control your jealousy. Hearing Chen Fan's words, Wu Feng's complexion changed slightly, as if he had been told the truth. Chen Fan looked at him, and added without haste. After all, I'm not hugging your girlfriend, so what does it have to do with you? The students in Wuyang City suddenly burst into laughter. Ha ha ha, Brother Fan's words are too reasonable to refute. Hey, this guy is really interesting. If others can't hug him, what's the matter with him? Jump out and scold him. When the students in Ba'an City saw this scene, their faces were very ugly. Wu Feng's face was livid, and he was about to speak. A violent voice suddenly sounded. Whose luggage is this? Don't let me throw it away. Everyone subconsciously turned their heads to look over. A student from Ba'an City was taking a bag from the luggage rack above his seat. He had a displeased face and an impatient tone. As soon as he finished speaking, he raised his hand and threw out a bag he was carrying, leaving no time for anyone to react. You, a student in Chen Fan's team, stood up and picked up his bag, looking at him angrily. I'm coming to get it, can't you wait for a second? Just throw it away, it's too disrespectful. The student from Ba'an City gave him a disdainful glance. Ha, You have the quality of occupying other people's space. Students of Wuyang City, I can't put it down here, let's put it over there for a while. If you don't have space, I can just hold it by myself. What's the big deal? Why are you so arrogant? Seeing that the two parties are about to quarrel, hurry up and deal with it. Don't make noise, don't make noise. Speak well. The student from Baan City looked Chen Fan up and down. Who are you? Chen Fan frowned. I am the captain of the Wuyang City student team, Chen Fan. The student snorted. What's the matter? Isn't the captain amazing? Are you here to get sidetracked? Chen Fan said coldly. It's taking up your luggage, you can let someone take it away, and even an apology is fine. But you didn't even give someone the chance to take away the luggage. Are you deliberately finding fault? Chen Fan leaned over slightly, staring at him condescendingly, his eyes sharp as a knife. I suggest you don't pick things up. Stared at by Chen Fan, the student felt a chill rising from the soles of his feet, and his complexion turned slightly pale. He looked at Chen Fan with some doubts, his expression changed, and he remained silent for a while. A haughty and contemptuous voice suddenly broke in. Advise my people not to pick things up. Judging from your tone of voice, it's pretty awesome, isn't it? If I didn't know that your Wuyang City's training camp results are counting down every time, I would think you are some strong team that others dare not provoke. The students in Baan City suddenly let out a burst of wanton laughter. Chen Fan turned his head and saw it was Wu Feng again. There was a flash of anger in his eyes, he stared at him like a knife, and said coldly. You fool L, once you get in the car, you provoke me like a fool again and again. Do you really think that people in Wuyang City are easy to bully? He looked Wu Feng up and down, and slowly revealed a sneer. Since you like to do stupid things, then I will make you a fool. Call. It was as if a gust of wind had blown away, and a tyrannical aura as vast as an ocean rose from him to the sky. Chen Fan outrageously shot Qian. Wu Feng only felt a blur in front of his eyes. The next moment, he felt an unstoppable force coming from his neck. Wu Feng was taken aback, he reacted extremely quickly, and his whole body immediately exploded with energy. But the next moment, the hand pinching his neck trembled violently. Like a titan pulling up a carrot and shaking off the mud, it's easy and casual. Unstoppable. Wu Feng instantly felt that all the bones in his body were about to be shaken apart. A burst of junqi, as strong as a raging sea wave, surged from this hand. Just like a tyrannosaurus trampling an ant to death, Wu Feng's violent aura was instantly crushed by this junqi. All this is only in the blink of an eye. The next moment, a mention of Chen Fan. A shake. Boom. Wu Feng was severely thrown to the ground. Where the head touches the ground, the hard alloy floor of the carriage sags in an instant. Wu Feng passed out without saying a word. He was lying on the ground with his body crooked and his legs slanted like a rag bag, motionless. The movement in the carriage stopped abruptly. Chen Fan's shot was a bit sudden, and everyone did not expect him to respond so forcefully. The people in the carriage stared blankly at the scene in front of them, and there was silence in the carriage. After a while, the students in Wuyang City were the first to react, and immediately let out a burst of cheers. Good fight. This person is a fool, he deserves to be beaten. That's how it should be. This Wu Feng keeps provoking Brother Fan, I want to beat him so much. Brother Fan is domineering. Let's see who dares to think that people in Wuyang City are easy to bully. That's right, let's see who dares to be arrogant in front of us again. Liang Yu stared at Chen Fan's domineering back, without blinking her eyes, her pupils were full of admiration and fascination. Feng Zheng stood on his seat, jumping up and down with excitement, his little hands flushed red. Chen Fan big brother is amazing. So handsome, so handsome. The students in Baan City only reacted, 413, at this time. Everyone looked at each other in blank dismay, all of them were shocked and bewildered. What happened? Why was Captain Wu knocked unconscious in an instant? Captain Wu is a mid-stage warrior. The strongest among us. Was this Chen Fan crippled by one move? What realm is Chen Fan? How can he be so strong? Everyone in Baan City looked at Chen Fan with anger, fear, and disbelief. Everyone in Baan City never expected that Chen Fan's reaction to Captain Wu's provocation would be so tough and domineering. If you say do it, do it. When did the people of Wuyang City become so stubborn? The Baan City student who threw his luggage to provoke him just now is no longer as arrogant and irritable as before. His pupils trembled, his face was pale, he swallowed with some difficulty, and did not dare to move, for fear of attracting Chen Fan's attention. He would also pinch his neck and knock him unconscious. It's a pity that he was afraid of something. Snapped. The student's eyes blurred, and he felt a huge force coming. He was pushed down on the seat by this force, and at the same time, there was a sharp pain on his face. Chen Fan stared at him coldly. Although we took your seat first, you deliberately provoked me first. This slap is a warning to you. If you provoke trouble again, I won't be so polite. The student covered his swollen face and looked at him in horror, not daring to say a word. When the students in Baan City saw Chen Fan attacking again, their expressions became even angrier, but their eyes were still full of fear. Some people were so angry that they couldn't hold it back, and summoned up their courage and shouted. You are so arrogant. If you beat Captain Wu unconscious, why don't you beat our people again? When the others saw someone taking the lead, they immediately became courageous and shouted angrily. You dare to bully the people of our Baan City. Chen Fan, you are going to be unlucky. Captain Wu is the son of Baan Wu's family. How dare you beat him? Beat someone if you disagree with me. You people in Wuyang City are so domineering. Chen Fan suddenly turned around, a cold look swept over. At this time, Chen Fan was full of aura and murderous intent, and this glance was like the gaze of the king of Hades demanding his life. Swept by his eyes, everyone in Baan City felt their hearts were shocked. Their bodies were icy cold. As if they were being strangled by the neck, their angry shouts were suppressed back into their throats in an instant. It wasn't until Chen Fan withdrew his eyes that everyone in Ancheng felt relaxed. They were gasping for breath. You looked at me, I looked at you, all of them looked extremely frightened. What a powerful aura, what a terrifying look. This Chen Fan, what realm is it, how can it be so strong? With such powerful characters, Wuyang City must rise this time. With a look that stunned everyone in Baan City, Chen Fan turned his head to look at Wu Feng, who was unconscious on the ground, thoughtfully. This Wu Feng provoked again and again as soon as he got into the car, apart from his own nature of arrogance, most likely because of the instructions from Baan City officials behind his back. It's like I was told by the city lord to not be soft when facing the provocations of Baan City. It's just that the instructions given to him by Baan officials are probably more domineering and bullying. The people in Baan City, most of them want to suppress the rusticity of Wuyang City's team on the road. Let us enter the training and collapse thousands of miles, so as to severely trample Wuyang City under their feet. The method is ruthless. It's really merciless. If the captain of the student team in Wuyang City was replaced by someone else, even if he had a tough attitude and did not back down, he would suffer a great loss due to lack of strength. Chen Fan glanced at himself silently, and the people in Baan City, whose eyes were full of fear, sneered in their hearts. Unfortunately, you met me. Since you are the ones who were malicious first, don't blame me for being cruel. No matter how arrogant you were in the past, all feifei lie on my stomach. If you dare to pick things up again, let's see if your bones are hard, or my fist is hard. After receiving Chen Fan's warning gaze, everyone in Baan City became even more terrified. Many people lowered their eyes subconsciously, not daring to meet his gaze. Looking at the people in Baan City who looked like quails, Chen Fan thought of the plan he had made before, and his eyes flashed. The time is right. His demeanor suddenly changed, and his strong and stern aura disappeared in an instant, as if it was just someone else's illusion just now. At this time, Chen Fan turned into a gentle, straightforward, kind and hearty handsome boy. He showed an amiable smile to everyone. Then, he slowly took out his second-grade alchemist badge and pinned it to his chest. Let me introduce myself. My name is Chen Fan, a martial artist, a second-rank alchemist. Quote. The students in Wuyang City didn't know what he was going to do, and they all looked at him suspiciously. The people in Baan City didn't even react. They looked at each other in a daze, and they were all a little dazed. Why does he suddenly look like a different person? What is he doing? What is this operation? How did he introduce himself? Chen Fan continued with a smile. After entering the training camp, it may not be so convenient to buy pills. If you have any needs for pills, you can come to me. The price is absolutely fair. and there are discounts if you buy in large quantities. Quote, only then did the students in Wuyong City understand, and burst out laughing. Ha ha ha, can you still do this? Brother Fan is so talented. Fan Shen Niu Bian, what kind of show operation is this? Ha 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 ha. I learned. You are worthy of being a mortal god. I've learned a lot. A genius at the level of Fan Shen is different. We can't catch up with this brain circuit at all. Everyone in Baan City finally came to their senses. They stared at Chen Fan dumbfounded, their eyes trembling and their faces full of disbelief. Someone subconsciously exclaimed, warrior level, second rank alchemist, what kind of monster is this? Hiss, impossible. No matter how talented a person is, it's impossible for a genius to reach this level, right? Just now he crippled Captain Wu with one move. Captain Wu has a mid-term martial artist cultivation, and Chen Fan has a martial artist level cultivation, so it can't be faked. That's right, and he has the badge of the Alchemist Chamber of Commerce. I'm afraid the second-rank alchemist is also real. It is impossible for him to disguise the badge, unless he is crazy. So, what he said is true. My God, what a monster. The students in Wuyong City laughed disdainfully. Look at your stupefied looks, you really don't know much. Isn't it unbelievable? I'm sorry, it's true. Gods are so awesome. Hey, weren't you guys really awesome just now? Everyone was so crazy, and I was like the best in the world. Why are you all gone now? Are you not arrogant anymore? Do you know that there is a sky beyond the sky, and there are people beyond people? Facing the cynicism of the students in Wuyong City, everyone in Baan City felt that their faces were hurting from the beating, and all of them turned red, but no one dared to refute. Chen Fan looked at the shocked people in Baan City, and was very satisfied. He glanced at Wu Feng, who was lying on the ground like a dead dog, secretly amused. Speaking of which, I would also like to thank this Wu Feng. He took the initiative to send him to the door to find a fight, so that he had this opportunity to become famous. Now, I have not only suppressed the people in Baan City, earned a lot of face for Wuyong City, but also advertised for myself, killing two birds with one stone. Having done two important things at the same time, Chen Fan walked to his seat contentedly. The students in Wuyong City stood up cheering, clapping and cheering like heroes who had returned from victory. The gods are mighty. Suppress Baan City with one move. Welcome Fan Shui to return in victory. Fan Shui reveals his domineering side, his divine power is invincible. Chen Fan didn't know whether to laugh or cry, and motioned for these guys to sit down quickly. Okay, don't do it. Returning to his seat, as soon as Chen Fan sat down, he was immediately hugged by two warm, fragrant and soft jade beauties. Liang Yu hugged his waist passionately, pressed her face to his chest, and rubbed contentedly. Chen Fan, you are too powerful, you are tough, you are decisive, and you have the demeanor of a general. She raised her head and winked at him a little triumphantly. This girl has really good eyesight. Chen Fan nodded solemnly in agreement. Yu, I have always trusted your vision. Feng Zheng hugged Chen Fan's arm, looked up at him, his small face was full of admiration. Chen Fan big brother is so powerful, he knocked Wu Feng out with one move. One look makes them dare not move, so handsome and majestic. People in Baan City who were pointed at by Feng Zheng's little finger, can you save me some face? Chen Fan pressed Feng Zheng's outstretched arm, touched her little head, and said with a smile. Zheng works hard, and soon she will be so majestic. Feng Zheng nodded vigorously. Yeah, I want to be so majestic in the future. Liang Yu looked at Chen Fan speechlessly. Zheng is such a well-behaved and lovely little girl, don't lead her down. What will happen if she becomes a tigress in the future? Feng Zheng's eyes lit up. Hello tigress, what a majestic tiger. Liang Yu, Chen Fan explained with some difficulty. The tigress doesn't understand it that way. It took him a lot of effort to persuade Feng Zheng to give up her idea of being a tigress. Feng Zheng muttered unhappily, but the tigress is obviously very majestic. Chen Fan covered his face speechlessly. This girl's talent and IQ are all focused on martial arts, and nothing else is left. Liang Yu rubbed in Chen Fan's arms, she didn't know what she thought of, and suddenly her pretty face turned red. She hesitated for a moment, squeezed her moist lips, moved to Chen Fan's ear, bit Chen Fan's ear lightly, and murmured softly. Chen Fan, wait until the training camp. Before Liang Yu could finish speaking, she was interrupted. Seeing Liang Yu's actions, Feng Zheng's eyes widened in shock. Sister Yu, why did you bite Chen Fan big brother? Don't bully him. Her crisp voice was heard throughout the carriage. There was a sudden silence in the carriage. Everyone in Wuyong City reacted and burst into laughter. Ha ha ha, what did I hear? Oh, little Feng Zheng is so funny. Hey hey, ask Colonel Liang Hua's current psychological shadow area. Interview, what is Colonel Liang's mood now? Ha 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 ha. Everyone in Ba'an City looked at the extremely enthusiastic atmosphere in Wuyong City, but the atmosphere on their own side was low, with complicated expressions. Liang Yu was ashamed and annoyed. She tapped Feng Zheng's head angrily and amusedly, not knowing what to say. Seeing the expression on Liang Yu's face, Feng Zheng frowned and thought hard for a while, showing a suddenly realized expression, propped up his small body and leaned towards Chen Fan's ear. I also like Chen Fan big brother. I want to bite my ear too. Dear love, she thinks that biting ears is a way of expressing liking. It's not wrong to understand this way, but it's not the kind of liking she thought. When everyone in Wuyong City heard this, they burst into laughter again. Ha ha ha, God-level understanding. Oh my mother, Xiao Fengzheng, you said she is a genius, she is indeed a genius, but sometimes. Ha 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 ha, I laughed so hard. Oh, it turns out that little Feng Zheng is so funny. Seeing Feng Zheng approaching, Chen Fan was startled, and quickly pushed her away gently. No, Zheng, you made a mistake, you can't bite my ear. Feng Zheng looked at the helpless Chen Fan, and at the students who were leaning forward and backward with laughter, scratched his little head in confusion, and his little face was covered with big question marks. At this moment, Liang Yu was so ashamed that she wished she could dig a hole and get in. Chen Fan glanced at Liang Yu, the corner of his mouth twitching. Yu, you have taught the kite to be broken. Liang Yu glared at him in embarrassment, then stomped her feet anxiously. Quickly explain to Zheng. Chen Fan was speechless. How do you explain this? I think you are embarrassing me. Zheng is too young, and her living environment is simple. She has nothing but study and practice. She doesn't understand these things at all, and she can't explain them. Chen Fan sighed leisurely. Forget it, when she grows up, she will naturally understand. The train ran smoothly and quickly. In the carriage, the students from Wuyong City were chatting and discussing their cultivation experience. The atmosphere was very good. On the other side, the low-pitched aura of the people in Ba'an City formed a stark contrast with the other side. The unconscious Wu Feng had been helped back to his seat by them. After the students in Ba'an City checked, they found that Wu Feng had just passed out. Although his injuries were serious but not fatal, they breathed a sigh of relief and didn't bother him anymore. They were not doctors either, so they had to wait until the training camp to find someone to treat Wu Feng. Wu Feng sat crookedly on his seat, his head drooping weakly, and no one looked at him again, looking extraordinarily miserable. The students in Ba'an City looked at Chen Fan from time to time and whispered. Wuyong City has produced such a monstrous genius. This Zhongbei training camp will probably be extraordinarily exciting. That's right, those old and strong teams, if they are not careful, they may be overturned. I'm afraid the rankings of the Zhongbei training camp will be reshuffled. Wuyong City's momentum this time is too strong. Regarding the discussion of everyone in Ba'an City, Chen Fan pretended not to hear it. The train was speeding non-stop, crossing half of Zhongbei Mansion all the way, and finally arrived at the destination of the trip in the evening. Chapter 71. The train drove into Jing'an City, slowly entered the station and stopped, and everyone began to pack their luggage and get off the train. Two beauties, one big and one small, were sleeping soundly, one leaning on Chen Fan's shoulder and the other holding Chen Fan's arm. Chen Fan had to shake them awake. Yu, wake up, we are here. Liang Yu woke up soon. She rubbed her sleepy eyes, stood up. It's over, let's get out of the car. But Chen Fan didn't move at all. Liang Yu saw it and immediately understood. Feng Zheng hugged Chen Fan's arm, sleeping soundly, showing no signs of waking up. Chen Fan shook, and Feng Zheng couldn't wake up. He looked at Liang Yu helplessly. Liang Yu couldn't help laughing and said, "You take her out of the car." Chen Fan is a little distressed. I have two big suitcases of luggage, and I can't carry them when I hold her. How about you carry her? Liang Yu said with a half smile. It's okay, I only have one suitcase, I'll just help you with one suitcase. Zheng Zheng is so clingy to you, I'm sure she'd be more willing to hug you. Chen Fan shook his head amusedly. I really brought a young sister to the training camp. Chen Fan got out of the car with Feng Zheng, who was sleeping soundly, and his team members got out of the car and assembled. Soon, all the students in Wuyang City had assembled and started to leave the station. Everyone in Ba'an City supported Wu Feng, who was still in a coma, and followed silently. Perhaps because of Chen Fan's power, they slowed down tacitly, not daring to get ahead of the students in Wuyang City. The two teams walked in the station, one in front and one behind. Passengers waiting at the station saw the two teams and stopped to watch, pointing at them. Hey, this is the team from Wuyang City and Ba'an City, right? That's right, but it looks a little strange. Isn't the team in Wuyang City always weak? I think they have a lot of momentum. Cut, ignorant people are just fearless. When they enter the training camp and know how much they are, they won't be so overconfident. Hey, look, Ba'an City's team looks quite decadent, what's going on? The strength of Ba'an City seems to be okay. When he was about to leave the station, a student from Wuhan City suddenly called Chen Fan. Brother Fan, I'm in a hurry and want to go to the bathroom, but I forgot to do it on the train just now. Chen Fan raised his hand to signal the team to stop. Is there anyone else who needs to go to the toilet? Go, we'll wait for you here. Soon 2 or 3 students went. Seeing this, everyone in Ba'an City who had been following behind looked at me and I looked at you, all with hesitant expressions. Someone whispered, let's overtake, we can't stop, it's too obvious, how embarrassing. Everyone gritted their teeth and bravely surpassed the past. When passing Chen Fan's team, because Chen Fan stood a little outside, the students from Ba'an City did not dare to get in front of him, so they had to go around from behind. Chen Fan turned his head to look, and realized that he was blocking the way of others, so he quickly tried to get in. Excuse me. The students in Ba'an City were immediately flattered. Suddenly, among the onlookers, a man with a somewhat unscrupulous temperament laughed and said, Tisk tisk, the people in Wuyang City are still so cowardly. The expressions of everyone in Ba'an City changed slightly, and they all turned to stare at him. Is this guy sick and making trouble here? If Chen Fan is offended, one of us will be beaten again. A student from Ba'an City took a look at this man and said angrily, You are so awesome, why don't you go meet a super genius who has reached the martial artist level and is also a second-grade pharmacist? Do you have the guts? The man was stunned for a moment, and when he realized what he was talking about, he was immediately stunned. Hold the grass, are you talking in your sleep? Is there such a genius in this world? What the hell are you talking about? The people in Ba'an City didn't bother to talk to him at all, they looked at him like an idiot, and left without stopping. The man looked at the leaving Ba'an City people, and then at Chen Fan, with a dazed and bewildered expression on his face. Seeing this scene, the other onlookers couldn't help looking at each other and whispering. Did you hear? The students in Ba'an City said just now that there is a super genius who is a martial artist or a second-grade pharmacist. Who is he talking about? According to what they said, it seems to be the captain of the Wuyang City team. Wuyang City's team, PFF'd, are you kidding me? How is that possible? A few team members who went to solve the internal emergency came back soon, and Chen Fan led the team to continue walking outside the station. Outside the station, the bus sent by the Zhongbei training camp to pick them up was already waiting. After everyone got on the bus started to drive outside Jing'an City. The bus traveled all the way through the mountains and ridges, and drove into a mountain range with endless hills and no end in sight. Finally, the bus stopped at a rather open valley flat surrounded by several high mountains. This appears to be a temporary assembly camp. A lot of students from various cities in Zhongbei Prefecture had arrived. Chen Fan took a quick glance and saw that there were more than 600 people here, and it seemed that some teams hadn't arrived yet. These students are all gathered in teams, each team occupies a place, and there is a clear distinction between each other. But one place is an exception. In a corner of the camp, a large group of students with different costumes and obviously belonging to different teams gathered together, listening to a fat student in the middle talking about something. The students from Ba'an City arrived a little earlier than Chen Fan and the others, and some students were also crowded inside, listening to the fat man. Chen Fan was a little curious, and walked over with his own team. After listening for a while, he realized what was going on. The fat man surrounded by everyone in the middle is introducing the important figures in each team to everyone. It seems that he belongs to the kind of well-informed, almost know-it-all kind of person. And this, know-it-all, is also willing to share what he knows with others. He seems to enjoy the feeling of being in the limelight and asking for advice sincerely. Quite interestingly, this fat man's name is Wang Shitong. Wang Shitong was standing on a chair, pointing to each team, and eloquently introduced to everyone, as if pointing the world. Did you see, that big brother with a temperament as cold as a sword as Ji Yuhan from Taming City, late warrior. Taming City's seed player. The crowd was slightly agitated, they all turned their heads to look at the past, talking a lot. In the late stage of the warrior, the strength is not bad, he is a strong enemy. Wang Shitong pointed to another team. Over there, that short boy with a very tender face is called Huang Jing, and he is from Hongliang City. He is a genius who has skipped several levels. In fact, he is not yet an adult, but he is already in the early stage of a warrior. It's the youngest warrior class in Hongliang City. It's estimated to be one of the youngest in the entire Zhongbei prefecture. Everyone looked at Huang Jing and was amazed. Tisk tisk tisk, compared with him, I suddenly realized that I am no longer worthy of the phrase, heroes make young men. No, I'm several years older than him, and I may not be able to beat him. Thinking about it, I'm really ashamed. Why? Chen Fan stood outside the crowd and listened carefully. These messages are very useful, and it is still necessary to know the information of competitors in advance. Behind Chen Fan, the students of Wuyang City silently looked at the shocked faces of these people, and the expressions on their faces were a little funny. These so-called geniuses are nothing in front of Brother Fan. Brother Fan is the real genius, okay. A genius at the monster level. The two geniuses you mentioned, like One Piece, can't stop Brother Fan 2 or 3 times. Several students in Ba'an City also had strange expressions on their faces, obviously they had the same idea as everyone in Wuyang City. Wang Shitong's eyes swept across the teams, and suddenly his eyes lit up. Look at that beautiful woman with a silver-gray spear. The one with the ponytail, the one with the strong outfit, and the one with the extra long legs. She is Wu Xuanying from Weiqing City. A super genius in the early days of a martial artist. Everyone was in an uproar. Grass holding, martial artist level. There is such a monster, is there any way for us to survive? Is this still human? At the same age, I'm only in the early stages of a martial artist. How did she cultivate to the level of a martial artist? It's really scary. Nima, I figured it out. I'm here to get the head. This kind of monster is the real protagonist. Wang Shitong looked at the shock of the crowd with a smile, and looked at his expressions, he seemed to be a little proud of himself, and he bombarded these people with a news that made them tremble. Chen Fan also turned his head and took a serious look at Wu Xuanying. This girl is in the same realm as him, and she seems to be an opponent who needs special attention. Liang Yu stood beside Chen Fan, and looked at Wu Xuanying solemnly for a while. The students in Wuyang City looked at each other and exchanged glances quietly. Warrior is indeed a very strong opponent in the early stage, we are all at a loss, it depends on Brother Fan. I'm afraid, Brother Fan is also a martial artist in the early stage, and he is still a second-rank alchemist, how about crushing her directly? That is, looking at these people's surprised looks, I really don't know much. In the crowd, Wang Shitong looked around, planning to find another prominent person to introduce to everyone. Suddenly, his eyes narrowed, and he saw Feng and others who were sleeping soundly on Chen Fan's shoulder. He frowned and thought for a while, then suddenly showed a dazed expression, pointed at Feng Zheng and shouted. Look, this little girl is Feng Zheng from Wuyang City, and she is also a genius who has skipped levels continuously. She is already in the early stage of warrior. She is the same as Huang Jing. No, she is younger than Huang Jing. Based on this calculation, her talent is probably stronger than Huang Jing. In fact, Feng Zheng just broke through a small realm a few days ago, and he is already in the middle stage of a martial artist, but Bing Shitong's news is obviously not well informed to this level. Hearing Wang Shitong's introduction, there was a commotion among the crowd, and they gathered around one after another, looking at Feng and the others in amazement. My God, she is indeed much younger than Huang Jing, Wang Shitong said too conservatively, her talent must be stronger than Huang Jing. This one with small arms and legs really has the combat power of a warrior in the middle stage. I can't believe it. Why don't you let her punch you for a try? Keep it until you cry. This is not necessary, I believe it is not possible. Those who practice martial arts all have a certain kind of sensitive instinct. Being sized up by countless gazes, Feng Zheng's eyelids moved slightly, and he suddenly woke up. When Chen Fan saw that she was awake, he wanted to put her down. Feng Zheng suddenly stretched out his small arms like tender lotus root, put his arms around Chen Fan's neck, and started the cheating mode. No, I won't go down. Chen Fan didn't know whether to laugh or cry, so she had to let her go. Feng Zheng turned his head and saw a group of people looking at him, his eyebrows were tightly frowned, and he leaned back on Chen Fan's shoulder arrogantly. Chen Fan, big brother, these people are looking at me. It's disgusting. Let's not be here please. Chen Fan couldn't help laughing. Just as he was almost listening, he nodded. Okay, let's go elsewhere. Chen Fan took his team to find an open space and temporarily settled here, waiting for the arrangement of the training camp. One after another, several more buses brought over the remaining teams that hadn't arrived. After a while, there was a faint commotion in the camp. Chen Fan looked up, and saw a tall, sassy female officer walking towards the center of the camp. Behind the female officer, there were several aggressive sergeants, each carrying a big box in their hands. Sensing the thick and cold aura of the female officer, Chen Fan calculated it attentively and was slightly startled. This is a master-class master. Seeing this female officer approaching, the students of each team became slightly excited when they knew that the training camp arrangement was coming. The female officer stood still in the middle of the camp, took out a whistle and put it in her mouth. Beep. There was a sharp and loud whistle that went straight into the sky from the camp. This is the assembly post, and the students from all teams immediately surrounded her. The female officer glanced at everyone, her eyes were as clear as lightning. Let me introduce myself. My name is Qin Shiwei, and I am your selected examiner. Congratulations on being qualified to participate in the Zhongbei Training Camp Selection Assessment. Everyone stared at Qin Shiwei, and all of them looked at each other. Zhongbei Training Camp Selection Assessment. It's finally about to start. After practicing hard for years, I have made the best preparations. As long as you pass the assessment, successfully enter the training camp, and persist for a long enough time, your strength will be greatly improved. The future is unlimited. Qin Shiwei's voice was as cold as a spring of ice. The content of the selection assessment is very simple. Enter the mountain range behind me, hunt and kill ferocious beasts to accumulate points. Within 3 days, the points must reach 1,000 to pass the assessment. Officially join the Zhongbei training camp. Fierce beasts are ferocious blood-eating creatures that are distorted when all kinds of animals and plants are contaminated by violent energy or polluted by the breath of demons from all races when the family descends and the family undergoes drastic changes. Everyone was in an uproar. What? Killing beasts? Isn't the content of this assessment too exaggerated? It's over. I haven't seen a few fierce beasts in school. I don't have enough experience in this area. It's not impossible to kill fierce beasts, but this person is unfamiliar with the place and has no preparations. The risk is a bit high. Qin Shiwei looked at the grumbling students expressionlessly, and said lightly. The first place in the points list will receive 10 million rewards and the opportunity to choose a 4th grade inner strength method. Everyone was quiet, and then there was a commotion. 10 million. 4 grades of inner strength mentality. My God, what a big hand. As expected of the Zhongbei training camp, it's really cool. Suddenly I feel so motivated. It's numb, isn't it a ferocious beast? It's all about it. Chen Fan looked at Qin Shiwei in surprise, and was very excited. Inner strength. Compared with ordinary exercises of rank 1 to 3, inner strength and mind methods are much more precious. Ordinary exercises of the 1st to 3rd ranks can greatly strengthen the physical body, and lay a solid foundation for martial arts practitioners in the 3 stages of warrior, martial artist, and master. And to break through from the Grandmaster realm to the Great Grandmaster, one must practice inner strength and mental skills. The inner strength method can endow the true energy with various attributes, such as water, fire, wind and thunder, etc., so that the true energy can undergo a qualitative change and break through to a higher level. Combat power will also be explosively improved. Qin Shiwei looked at the people whose morale was soaring, and nodded in satisfaction. Everyone comes to receive a points badge, which can be used to record your points. The soldiers who had been standing behind Qin Shiwei immediately stepped forward with the big boxes in their hands, filled the boxes with local badges, and distributed them to the students one by one. After every student had received their badges, Qin Shiwei raised his wrist, looked at the time, and shouted. The selection assessment begins. As soon as the words fell, the hundreds of students present rushed towards the mountains outside the valley camp. The students in Wuyang City were already impatient, but the Captain Chen Fan didn't move, so they all suppressed their desire to fight a battle, looked at Chen Fan expectantly, and waited for his order. Feng and the others also jumped off Chen Fan, looking up at Chen Fan with his small hands clenched into fists, his face serious and full of fighting spirit. Liang Yu looked at the indifferent Chen Fan with some doubts. Aren't we leaving yet? Chen Fan shook his head unhurriedly. Don't be so anxious. Chen Fan didn't intend to kill the beast himself. My main job is an alchemist. What's the matter with killing fierce beasts? It's too irresponsible, and this method is too stupid. He beckons his team members to wave. Everyone gather around. Let's have a short meeting. Everyone in Wuyang City immediately surrounded him and looked at him suspiciously. Next to it, a team has just packed up and is going to hunt fierce beasts in the mountains. Seeing Chen Fan and his group gathered together, they had no intention of leaving at all, so they immediately sneered. Hey, are you guys scared by the beasts and are planning to give up completely? It must be. Their results in Wuyang City are at the bottom of every session. There are no powerful people at all. It is wise to give up early. Yes, if it doesn't work, don't force it. When the time comes, a lot of people will die, and the scene will not be good. The students in Wuyang City glared at them. Don't worry, we won't die even if you all die. Have you heard of stupid now Shanfei? Those who are in a hurry are mostly unsure. Chen Fan raised his hand to signal his team members not to engage in such meaningless quarrels. He stared coldly at these mocking people, his eyes sharp as a knife. Are you here to participate in the selection assessment, or are you looking for someone to pick things up? When they met his eyes, these people couldn't help but froze, and subconsciously shut their mouths. Realizing that their aura was being suppressed by others, they couldn't help but look a little ugly. Okay, don't waste time here, let's set off quickly, it's important to kill the beast. The captain of this team looked at Chen Fan with some trepidation, and hurried away with his team members. After getting rid of these people, Chen Fan began to tell the team members about his plan. You all know that my main job is alchemy. Although my combat power is not bad, seriously, my biggest advantage here is alchemy. After hearing this, everyone in Wuyang City nodded in agreement. Brother Fan said that before I realized it, it's true. Yes, in terms of combat power, there are still people who can compete with Brother Fan, but when it comes to alchemy, Brother Fan is the only one. It makes sense. Brother Fan, this is a monopoly advantage. You should make good use of it, maybe it will have a miraculous effect. Seeing that the team members went with him, Chen Fan was very satisfied, and he said. So I have an idea, I will provide you with pills to increase your combat power and help you complete your mission. When killing beasts, I will not do it myself unless necessary, so that I can train you by the way. The requirement is that you use the points as a reward for getting the elixir from me. The elixirs I refine are all free of erysipelas, far easier to use than Chong Cheng's elixirs. Exchange the pills for points and harvested everyone's points and wallets. This was exactly Chen Fan's plan. Rabbits eat the grass next to the nest first. No, the fertilizer and water flow to their own fields first, start with their own team, and implement their own plans. Everyone was overjoyed immediately. No problem at all. I can't wish for it, Brother Fan. It's such a bargain, isn't it? There is no erysipelas elixir, this kind of super product, I may not even be willing to eat it in exchange. This method is great. There are pills that can restore true energy, and the combat power will soar. We can earn a lot more points. Liang Yu asked. Then what about me and Zhengzheng? Chen Fan looked at the two beauties, one big and one small, rolled his eyes and said with a smile. You don't need to kill the beast, just follow me and take care of me. Liang Yichao's face was slightly red, and Chen Fan turned pale. Serve you, you think so beautifully. Feng Zheng didn't have any special ideas about whether to serve or not. She hugged Chen Fan's arm with a satisfied face. I want to accompany Chen Fan, big brother. The little girl's mind is very simple, and she is very satisfied when she is with her favorite Chen Fan, big brother. As for the selection assessment, points, grades, rankings, all these messes, I'm sorry, at this time, her little brain has no room for them. After discussing and obtaining the unanimous consent of the team members, Chen Fan took out the Qi enhancing pill that he had brought with him long ago. Yipan enhancing Qi pill is suitable for warriors to take. It can be used to restore true Qi, and it can also be used to cultivate breakthroughs. These are all top-grade pills without erysipelas, and when they were taken out, everyone in Wuyang City immediately salivated. According to the level of these team members, Chen Fan distributed a few to each of them. Everyone held the enhancing Qi pill in their hands and admired it over and over again, very happy. With these Qi increasing pills, when hunting ferocious beasts, you can use them to your heart's content without worrying about running out of true Qi. When the true Qi is exhausted, after taking a Qi increasing pill and adjusting the breath for a while, it will immediately return to its peak state. With Qi enhancing pill, the overall combat power will almost double. Everyone in Wuyang City looked at Chen Fan excitedly. Brother Fan, you have helped us a lot. That's right, with these Qi enhancing pills, our combat power has been greatly improved, and our chances of passing the selection assessment will be greatly improved. With the elixir, and with Fan Ji's presence, we will definitely get rid of the beasts and get back a lot of points. Yes, we need to earn as many points as possible, we can't just pass the assessment. In the past, Wuyang City's grades were at the bottom every time. This time, we have to feel proud and earn back all the bad things we did before. Chen Fan looked at the team members who were full of morale, and nodded in relief. Very good. I'm relieved if you have such fighting spirit. Let's go and earn a big face for Wuyang City. Everyone in Wuyang City responded in unison, and then put on the Qi enhancing pill, and under the leadership of Chen Fan, charged into the endless mountain range with no end in sight. In the mountains, by a small stream, a team is fighting with a crocodile, and their captain, Ji Yuhan, who is as cold as a sword, is commanding from the side. The iron-toothed crocodile is a Tier 1 ferocious beast with a copper head and iron bones. Its skin is extremely tough and its defense is strong. Its teeth are even more sharp. With its huge bite force, it can even bite a sword made of fine iron. Break. This iron-toothed crocodile is nearly 10 meters long, and its body is quite huge. A group of students are like a group of weak ants in front of its huge body. This team formed an enveloping formation, surrounding the iron-toothed crocodile in the middle. Infuriating. The wind howls. Everyone cooperated tacitly, and the offensive continued continuously, firmly trapping the iron-toothed crocodile in a small area. The iron-toothed crocodile rushed left and right, but couldn't get out no matter what. But the iron-toothed crocodile's defense is too strong. Everyone tried their best, but they couldn't break its defense for a while. Moreover, the strength of the iron-toothed crocodile is also extremely strong and long. Although it was pressed and beaten, it has been struggling and resisting fiercely. Judging from this momentum, it seems that it can persist for a long time. At that time, it is not certain who wins and who loses. Seeing that he couldn't attack for a long time, Ji Yuhan frowned dissatisfiedly, and strode forward with his sword in hand, shouting loudly. Step aside. The people in front of Ji Yuhan reacted quickly and immediately flew back. An extremely tyrannical energy exploded from Ji Yuhan's body. Swish. Ji Yuhan's figure flashed, dragging a long phantom, and he arrived in front of the iron-toothed crocodile in the blink of an eye. The next moment, he raised his sword and jumped into the air, leaping several meters high. The violent Junshi rushed into the sword body rapidly, the sword in Ji Yuhan's hand trembled violently, and the sword light flourished. Ji Yuhan bombarded down like a meteor, smashing hard on the head of the iron-toothed crocodile, smashing its huge body to the ground. Almost at the same instant, crack, the long sword in Ji Yuhan's hand, full of sword light, pierced into the head of the iron-toothed crocodile without any hindrance, like tofu, until it lost its handle. Roar! The iron-toothed crocodile let out a stern roar, and suddenly collapsed on the ground, and there was no more movement. The players immediately cheered. Brother Han, you are too powerful. Brother Han Beef Batch. This first-order ferocious beast is simply too weak for Brother Han, it is vulnerable. Everyone looked at Ji Han with admiration. If all the ferocious beasts here are at this level, it's not worth mentioning to you, Brother Han. Yes, I think that the first place in the assessment must belong to Brother Han. It is necessary. Brother Han is practicing high-level skills, and his actual combat power is not weaker than that of a martial artist in the late stage of martial arts, so Brother Han is the first row. Hearing the compliments from the team members, Ji Han was expressionless, with no happy expression on his face. He wiped the sword in his hand unhurriedly, and said lightly, I dare not say that I will be the first. Although few of the people who came this time can see it, there are 2 people who are still qualified to fight with me. The team members asked curiously. Which 2? Ji Han flicked the blade of the sword, listening to the clear and sharp sound of the long sword, his eyes were full of fighting spirit. Wu Xuanying, Shu Taper, halfway up a hill. The Baan City team found a black-lined fox here. Moxianhu is a first-order beast. BGDC is very weak in combat power, but it is very fast and very flexible. If it is a person, even if its strength is 1 order higher, it will be difficult to catch it. But facing a team of dozens of people, his speed advantage was greatly reduced. The people in Baan City dispersed, chased and intercepted it, and successfully killed it. The badge for recording points lighted up slightly. Everyone took it out and saw that the above points had changed from 0 to 100. Everyone in Baan City was immediately overjoyed. 100 points have arrived. Based on this, if you kill 10 Tier 1 beasts, you will be able to pass the selection assessment. It's not difficult. Great, I thought our assessment would be very difficult without Captain Wu leading the team, but I didn't expect it to go so smoothly. Wu Feng was seriously injured by Chen Fan's punch, and he was recuperating from his injuries, so he couldn't participate in the selection assessment at all. Of course, this does not mean that he will be eliminated. Because points can be transferred between badges, badges come with this function. This is a general rule, and it has been the same in all previous assessments, so Qin Shiwei, the examiner who was selected just now, didn't specifically mention this. At that time, each of them will give Wu Fengyan a few points, and he will be able to pass the assessment. Wu Feng was the strongest among them, so he definitely couldn't easily give up this important combat power. What's more, this is the captain appointed by the Lord of Baan City. Even if he has no combat power, he has to be carried to pass the assessment. Everyone in Baan City was looking at the points displayed on the badge happily, when suddenly, a clear and lazy female voice sounded. Hey, robbery, hand over your points. Everyone turned their heads and looked over. A slender girl with a ponytail and a well-dressed outfit walked over unhurriedly. She also carried a silver-gray spear on her shoulder. Seeing this girl, everyone in Baan City immediately recognized her. Wang Shitong had introduced her earlier. Wu Xuanying. Wu Xuanying in the early stage of martial arts. Everyone's complexion suddenly changed. Wu Zan. Ying, you want to rob us? Isn't that a bit too much? That is, with your strength, it is not easy to earn points. Why did you come to rob us? Wu Xuanying leaned against a tree, twisted and twisted, with a twig in her mouth, and she was full of laziness. She scratched her head and said indifferently, Why? Because it's easier this way. It takes a long time to find a fierce beast to find one. It's too troublesome. It's much easier to find people. Look, I just found you. Wu Xuanying stretched her waist. Don't talk nonsense. Hurry up and hand over the points. Anyway, you are not my opponent. Don't struggle, hurry up. The faces of everyone in Baan City turned red, and they were so angry that they were dying. Wu Xuanying, you are really deceiving people. That's right, it's too despicable for you to do this. Wu Xuanying gave them a strange look. You can rob other opponents. Isn't this a general rule? The previous assessments were also like this. If you are not convinced, then come and rob me too. Everyone in Baan City looked at each other, and they all saw the anger in each other's eyes. If you rob, you think we dare not. That's right, your martial artist level is strong, but we have dozens of warrior levels here, so we can't handle you alone. Yes, let's go together. No matter how strong she is, she doesn't have more than a dozen hands. Everyone quickly reached a consensus. Afterwards, everyone in Baan City flashed their figures and quickly surrounded Wu Xuanying in the middle. During this process, Wu Xuanying didn't move at all, as if she didn't care at all. Seeing how she despised people like herself, everyone in Baan City became even more angry. They exchanged glances. Superior. With a shout, everyone rushed forward. In Wu Xuanying's narrow and clear eyes, a bright light suddenly flashed, and the lazy expression was swept away. She muttered excitedly, "That's right." The next moment, a burst of vigor that was as violent as a raging fire and as thick as a deep sea suddenly erupted from her body. Call. The spear in her hand vibrated, and instantly turned into a silver-gray mad dragon. Howling and circling, coming and going, the body of the gun pierced through the air, and the roar of a giant dragon sounded faintly. Ho 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 ho. Vigorously agitated, violently blasted. Boom bang bang bang. All the people in Baan City swarmed up and flew upside down in all directions. Wu Xuanying shook her shoulders and legs, and let out a pleasant sigh. Ah, Shu Tan, in the official base of the Zhongbei training camp, in a huge monitoring room. On the huge monitor screen that occupies the entire wall, the picture is cut into dozens of parts. On each screen, a real-time screen of a team is displayed. Sitting in the monitoring room is a group of officials, all of whom are powerful figures in high positions in Zhongbei Mansion. In Zhongbei Mansion, all of them are real big shots. Looking at the wonderful performance of each team on the screen, the characters are full of admiration. There are so many geniuses this year, and the quality is higher than in previous years. This year's college entrance examination, our Zhongbei Prefecture will definitely shine. Yeah, it's true that the wave behind pushes the wave ahead, one generation is better than the other. If things go on like this, our Zhongbei Prefecture will have more and more outstanding talents, and the future of development is bright. These big shots hold a list in their hands. On the list, the students who participated in the training camp selection assessment this time were ranked according to their martial arts cultivation. Someone looked at the list in their hands, and compared it with the students on the monitor screen. First place, Shu Taper, I know this kid. Oh, I found it, here it is. Second place, Wu Xuanying, she seems to be, oh here, hey, this kid has a few dozen. She's a bit amazing. Everyone was watching with gusto, when the door of the cell was suddenly pushed open. Seeing the person coming, everyone was shocked and stood up one after another. Mr. Yang, what's wrong with you? Yang Xuan strode in, and when he heard this, he glared in dissatisfaction. What, I can't come. Everyone coughed a few times in embarrassment. Don't dare, we welcome you anytime. Ahem, Commander, you said before that you would never come again, we were so surprised to see you suddenly. Yang Xuan found a seat and sat down very familiarly, his eyes swept back and forth on the big monitoring screen. Let me come and see my genius in Wuyang City. By the way, what were you guys talking about just now? What is first and second? A great man replied, Mr. Yang, we are discussing the ranking of the combat power of the students participating in the selection assessment this year. Based on the information of the students, the training camp ranked each student and each team according to their strength. Yang Zhanci immediately became interested. Oh, show me. The big man handed over a few lists in his hand. Yang Xuan took it and flipped through it. On the list of the students' combat power rankings, Yang Zhanci looks from top to bottom. Number 1. Shu Taper, a late martial artist. Note, possesses a special weapon, the combat power is unknown. Number 2. Wu Xuanying, early stage martial artist. Note, possesses the power of Mingfeng bloodline, the combat power is unknown. No. Point 3. Ji Yuhan, early martial artist. Note, if you practice high-level skills, your combat power is comparable to that of an intermediate martial artist. Yang Xuan looked at dozens of others before seeing Chen Fan's name. Number 666. Chen Fan, mid-warrior. The corner of Yang Xuan's mouth twitched involuntarily. Warrior, mid-term, opening square bracket ... The early stage of a martial artist becomes a mid-stage martial artist. Are you preparing to come to the Yin people? Xiao Bai, you are really a sixth child. He put down the list calmly, and nodded in agreement. I checked, and the ranking is indeed accurate. It seems that the people in the training camp are very hardworking. A big man replied with a smile. I will pass on your words, and I believe they will be very encouraged by Commander Yang's praise. Yang Shuans picked up the list of team rankings and looked at it carefully for a while. When he turned to the end and saw the list of the last team, his expression changed immediately. Hold the grass. I'm the last one in Wuyang City's team. Did you make a mistake? Several important people look at me and I look at you, with strange expressions. After a while, someone awkwardly explained. Mr. Yang, there should be no mistakes in the list. The information we have obtained is very detailed. The quality of Wuyang City's team this year is indeed somewhat worrying. There are more than 100 people in Wuyang City, only a few are mid-stage warriors, most of the others are early-stage warriors, and there are even a few students who are late-stage warriors. Several other people couldn't help but said, this level, compared with other teams, is indeed too poor. That's right, even the students from the later stage of martial arts are sent here, isn't this just to gather the number of people? Yang Zhanci remained silent, the corners of his mouth twitching. Seeing him like this, several big men thought he was too angry, so they couldn't help being startled. One of them hastily opened his mouth to persuade. Hey, Mr. Yang, calm down. It's not your fault that these juniors don't live up to expectations. The others glared at him, and made amends in a tacit understanding. You don't have to worry too much, Commander Yang. The assessment of combat power is just a reference, and it's not accurate. Yes, the ranking of the combat power of the team is actually not very meaningful. What the team values is unity and cooperation. If they are sincerely united and cooperate with each other tacitly, it has happened many times before that a low combat power team overthrows a high combat power team. Quote. That's right, Mr. Yang, don't worry too much. The ranking of this team is only based on the combat power of each team member, and many other factors are not taken into account at all. In fact, it is very inaccurate. Yang Zhanci, don't try to persuade me so much, I can't help it anymore. I'm afraid that if I burst out laughing on the spot, then everyone's faces will be ugly, ha 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 ha. Yang Shuans took a deep breath, stretched out his hands and rubbed his face vigorously, and said with a sorrowful face. Thank you for your persuasion, I feel much better in my heart. Seeing that Yang Shuans still looked sad, everyone didn't know how to persuade him. When someone saw the picture of the Wuyang City team on the big monitoring screen, he couldn't help being startled, and subconsciously shouted. Why is the Wuyang City team still in the temporary camp? Are they going to abstain? Several other big shots stared at him with hatred. Will you still talk? Will you be happy if you get old Yang angry? The man came to his senses and quickly looked back. Well, I read it wrong. Oh yes, look, they seem to be in a meeting. They should be discussing countermeasures. This is called making decisions before moving. The team in Wuyang City is very strong. The topic was brought up on the monitoring screen, and a group of big shots looked at the big monitoring screen and the pictures of each team, and began to comment one after another. A big man born in Linkang City stared at a picture on the monitor screen without blinking. Looking at the team on the screen like chopping melons and vegetables, killing one after another fierce beasts, his face was full of relief. My city of Linkang produces outstanding talents every year, and this year there is a demon-level shoe taper, who is still in the late stage of martial arts at a young age, and his combat power is not weak enough to be a half-step master. The more he spoke, the more excited he became, and a proud and confident look appeared on his face. Such an incomparable genius, with his extreme combat power, who can stand up to a battle in the training camp. It seems that I am number one again in Linkang City this year. As soon as he said this, the other big shots were immediately blown up. HMPH. Is it too early to say this? My Wu Xuanying in Weiqing City, although only a martial artist in the early stage, has the rare power of the Mingfeng bloodline, which is no less than him. My Ji Yu Han in Taming City is also extremely talented. Being able to jump through a few levels and directly practice high-level exercises, I don't think Shu Taper can do this kind of ability. If Shu Taper is against Ji Yu Han, it's hard to say who wins and who loses. Several other people also opened their mouths one after another, speaking for the city where they were born. Even though they knew that their team's combat power was far behind these top geniuses, they didn't show any sign of weakness. Yang Xuan's laughed inwardly as he watched these people refusing to give in to each other, arguing like a pot of porridge. Argue, quarrel, the more you quarrel, the more swollen your face will be. You geniuses, no matter how powerful they are, can they still be as powerful as Chen Fan? The first place is Xu Wei, a late martial artist. The second place is Wu Xuanying, a mid-stage martial artist. Sorry, Chen Fan has a record of killing Shui Xiao, a killer who is a mid-stage martial artist. Besides, he is still a second-rank alchemist, so you may not be able to predict some methods. In front of him, I'm afraid you won't get much bargain. In the mountains, at the foot of Rizuo Mountain, Chen Fan has been wandering around the mountains for quite a while with the crowd of Wuyang City full of fighting spirit. But luck is not very good, they have not encountered a fierce beast. On the points badge, you can check the point rankings of other teams. The top teams have already reached 300 or 400 points, and they are almost halfway to the passing goal of 1,000 points. Everyone couldn't help feeling a little anxious, subconsciously looking at Chen Fan. Brother Fan, it seems that the beast is a little hard to find. Yeah, we still want to compete for the ranking in the standings. Everyone else has 300 or 400 points, and we haven't opened yet. What's the matter? Someone made his own suggestion. How about, let's disperse, search separately, and send a message to call everyone to rush over if we find the beast. Chen Fan thought for a while, then shook his head. Don't bother, just follow me. He turned and walked up the hill behind him. Everyone followed up suspiciously, looking at each other in blank dismay. What is Brother Fan doing? I don't know, what's the rush, I'll know later. Leading the crowd to the top of the mountain, Chen Fan looked around for a while and nodded with satisfaction. There are no high peaks around this mountain, and there is a relatively strong wind blowing constantly on the top of the mountain, which fully meets the requirements. He ordered to his team, "You pick up some dry wood and light a fire." Everyone was full of doubts, but they all believed that Chen Fan must have a way, and went to gather firewood to make a fire without hesitation. A bonfire was quickly lit. Chen Fan took out a few crimson elixir, thought about it, and was afraid that it would not be enough, so he took out a few more. Feng Zheng put his arms around Chen Fan's arm and looked out curiously. Liang Yu asked, Chen Fan, what is this pill for? The team members also looked curiously at the dan in Chen Fan's hand. Chen Fan smiled. You will know later. After speaking, he raised his hand and threw these pills into the bonfire. As soon as this crimson elixir came into contact with the flames, it immediately began to blaze. A rich aroma diffused from the fire. This kind of fragrance is very peculiar, a little like the fragrance of powder, a little sweet and greasy. After careful taste, you will feel a fishy smell. The strange thing is that it seems to be mixed with chili peppers. After smelling it for a long time, it feels spicy and pungent. The team members smelled it for a while, and some couldn't bear it anymore. Oh, my mother, I really can't stand it anymore. What kind of smell is this? Brother Fan, what kind of pill is this? Why are you burning it? Cough, cough, cough. It's so choking. Feng Zheng clenched his sleeves and tightly covered his nose. His little face was wrinkled into a ball, and disgust was written all over his face. It stinks, it stinks. Liang Yu also covered her nose with her hand, her face turned pale. Chen Fan looked at the disintegrated state of the crowd, and laughed straight away. You can't do it, you can't stand the taste. Everyone was opening their mouths to refute, and suddenly felt something moving. After concentrating on feeling it for a while, someone suddenly shouted. What is this buzzing sound? Could it be an earthquake? Chen Fan smiled and shook his head. No, you look into the distance. Everyone subconsciously looked into the distance, and then their eyes widened in shock. Among the mountains in the distance, in all directions, huge figures are rampaging in the vegetation and forests. That is a beast. These ferocious beasts seemed to be mad, and rushed straight towards their mountain, without turning at all. Even if there were trees blocking the way, they would all be smashed directly. Boom, 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 boom. These ferocious beasts are huge, and every step is as heavy as 1,000 pounds, arousing huge movements, stirring back and forth in the valley. The momentum is quite huge. Everyone in Wuyang City watched this scene dumbfounded. What's the situation? The beast's lair was bombed. Liang Yu was the first to react. Chen Fan, is it the smell of these elixirs of yours that attracted them? Chen Fan nodded with a smile. So smart. Feng Zheng widened his eyes in shock, his small face was full of admiration. Wow, Chen Fan big brother is amazing. People looked at Chen Fan in disbelief. Hold the grass, is that okay? Niapi, you can still use this method to find fierce beasts, it's really insightful. If you can't find the beast, let the beast come to us. Brother Fan's thinking is open. Hey, do you think there are other teams fighting with the beasts, and halfway through the fight, their beasts came to us? Everyone looked at me, I looked at you, and suddenly laughed violently. There must be. Thinking about that scene, I think it's so funny, ha ha ha. Ha ha. In a valley, Ji Yuhan is leading his team to hunt down a white-crowned megalodon. This kind of ferocious beast is flexible and fast, making it quite difficult to deal with. As with the previous tactic, the players were tasked with trapping it, and Ji Yuhan ended the fight with one blow. Although with his combat power, one person can easily single out this beast, but he must find something for the team members to do, and it will save him trouble. A tyrannical energy erupted from Ji Yuhan's body, and he jumped towards the white-crowned megalodon. Choke. Accompanied by a sword cry, the long sword in his hand burst into a piercing and clear sword light. At this time, Ji Yuhan was in the air, holding a sharp sword light, full of vigor and majesty, like a god of war descending into the world. He jumped on top of the white-crowned megalodon, his breath sank, and he bombarded down like a meteor. The white-crowned megalodon was attracted by the attacks of the team members, and did not notice the attack from above. But the next moment, it seemed to smell something, sniffed violently, and then went crazy instantly. It roared, turned around and rushed out of the encirclement circle of the team members. Seeing this, several team members standing in front of the white-crowned megalodon immediately launched an attack. Based on the previous experience, in the face of their powerful combined attack, the white-crowned megalodon is cautious and should choose to dodge. But this time, the white-crowned megalodon ignored their attack and ran straight towards them. Bang bang bang. Several team members were directly knocked into the air. The white-crowned megalodon broke through the encirclement, and disappeared in the blink of an eye from everyone's eyes. Behind him, Ji Yuhan bombarded down like a meteor, but hit nothing. With the momentum of breaking the mountain and breaking the waves, he smashed to the ground fiercely. The violent vigor poured into the ground, blasting some wet and soft soil into flying directions. Ji Yuhan wiped off the mud on his face, looked at the large spots of mud on his body, and then looked at the white-crowned megalodon disappearing in the distance. His face was ashen. In the official camp of Zhongbei training camp, in the monitoring room, the picture of Chen Fan's team was enlarged to the middle, occupying a full half of the screen. In the picture, Chen Fan threw a few crimson pills into the bonfire, and after a while, countless wild beasts rushed here from all directions. A group of big shots looked at the scene in the picture, dumbstruck. What is this doing? My God, can it still like this? Yang Xuan stroked his beard with satisfaction, and praised. Worthy of being a second-rank alchemist, he really has skills that surpass those of martial arts masters. Everyone in the monitoring room recovered from the shock. You looked at me, I looked at you, and didn't know what to say for a while. The big man from Linkang City shouted angrily. This is cheating. Yang Xuan's expression moved slightly, and he turned around, seeing this man's angry face, with some panic and fear in his eyes. He just felt extremely happy in his heart. Chen Fan is powerful enough. Just one move made Linkang City, which has occupied the #1 throne for many times in a row, panic. This guy used to be arrogant and mocking in front of me. When has he ever been so flustered? He was so elated. Ha 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 ha, what a joy. This year's training camp, my Wuyang City will definitely shine. Yang Xuan showed a complacent and somewhat mocking smile, which seemed to be underwhelming. Cheating? Who told you it was cheating? My student is a second-rank alchemist, certified by the Alchemist Chamber of Commerce. He refines some pills to attract monsters. What's wrong with that? Everyone was shocked. A second-rank alchemist. This Chen Fan is actually a second-rank alchemist. Isn't he a mid-stage martial artist? He even became a second-rank alchemist. This talent is a bit enchanting. The big man who was born in Linkang City's complexion fluctuated. He hesitated to speak. Yang Xuance's eyes flashed, and he directly suppressed his unspoken plan. Competing for rankings in the training camp is all about relying on one's own ability. You can't say that your students don't know how to make alchemy, so you don't let others use it. If you want to play this kind of rascal in front of me, it won't work. Yang Xuance looked proudly at the person in front of him, Zhou Shuming from Linkang City. This person is his old enemy. When he was the lord of Wuyang City, the two had been fighting openly and secretly for a long time about the training camp. It's a pity that the juniors are too disappointing. Yang Xuance tried every means to support. Wuyang City's team is still at the bottom of the results every time, and has never won in front of Zhou Shuming. Although Yang Xuance is far superior to him in many other respects, his ranking in the training camp is a serious problem for him. Every time the two meet, Zhou Shuming will use this to make fun of him. Now, I can finally feel proud. Seeing Zhou Shuming dumbfounded and speechless, Yang Xuance's feeling of relief was unparalleled. He was not soft-spoken, and beat the dog in the water. Xu Ming, tell me, can this be considered cheating? The purpose of the Zhongbei training camp was to select and cultivate the strong. What is a strong person? Only martial arts strength is considered a strong person. A high-level alchemist is as effective as a dozen martial arts experts on the battlefield of the heavens. Do you dare to say that an alchemist is not an expert? Zhou Shuming was ashamed by Yang Xuance's questioning. He hesitated for a moment, and he still defended unwillingly. Things like pills belong to external forces. Yang Xuance sneered. Ha, external force. The power that does not belong to you is called external force. Chen Fan used his own alchemy ability to use the elixir, and it was not the elixir given by others. What kind of external force is this? Zhou Shuming fell silent. He was really unwilling. He knew too well how useful a second-grade alchemist would be in the training camp. But after much deliberation, Zhou Shuming had to admit that Yang Xuance's words made sense. People can make alchemy by themselves, and use their own elixirs, so what is it like to rely on external forces? If he insisted on prohibiting a second-rank alchemist from making alchemy for himself, he would not be able to do such a shameless thing. Besides, with Yang Zan planning the here, he doesn't have the guts to play such a rascal. Seeing that Zhou Shuming was speechless, Yang Xuance glanced triumphantly at the other people in the monitoring room. Do you think what I said makes sense? Everyone looked at me, and I looked at you, with complex expressions on their faces. They could see that Commander Yang came prepared today. He has obviously known for a long time that Wuyang City has sent a monster who is a middle-stage warrior and a second-rank alchemist this year, and he is here to show off. He just saw the last place in the Wuyang City team, and he was heartbroken. He tricked us to comfort him. When we kindly comforted him just now, this guy must have been laughing at us like crazy in his heart, right? Bah, this old sixth, not a son of man. Seeing Yang Xuance's complacent and arrogant look, Zhou Shuming was really angry. He couldn't help snorting. No matter how much you say, the most fundamental thing is to look at martial arts strength. Even if the elixir is not an external force, with his mid-term cultivation base as a mere warrior, could he be able to get the first place just by relying on the elixir? I really don't know what you are happy about. I think you are happy too early. Yang Xuance raised his eyebrows, wanted to refute, but held back after thinking about it. He felt that Chen Fan's true strength should not be exposed too early. Just to catch them off guard. At that time, it will be interesting to appreciate how they were shocked and surprised, doubting their lives. In addition, although Yang Xuance has great confidence in Chen Fan, but he is also very clear that Xu Wei in the late stage of martial arts, Wu Xuanying in the early stage of martial arts with the blood of Mingfeng, and Ji Yuhan who can fight across the ranks are not easy to deal with. With Chen Fan's true strength, it can only be said that he has a good chance of winning the first place. But if one is careless, it is not surprising to lose the first place, and it cannot be said to be a sure win. It's just that Yang Xuance thought so, but said that he definitely wouldn't say that. No matter whether you can take the first place or not, you must give it enough momentum. Isn't it just bragging and pretending to scare people? Can this still work? I didn't have that chance before, but now I finally have a fair chance. Can I let it go? Yang Xuance's face was full of arrogance, eloquently eloquent, blowing up Chen Fan's sky and earth, making people wonder whether Chen Fan could directly challenge the supreme martial arts lord. In the monitoring room, almost only his voice could be heard, and no one else could get in his mouth at all. A group of big shots were turned pale by him. They look at me and I look at you, their eyes are full of shock. What a good old man, why didn't I realize that this guy is so good at bragging before? In the mountains, the hilltop where the Wuyong City team is located. It took a while for everyone to wake up from their dull faces. Seeing a large number of ferocious beasts coming from all directions, getting closer and closer, each of them was full of excitement and gearing up. There are so many ferocious beasts, how many points should this be? Kill all these beasts, we will definitely be far ahead in the standings, and the first place in the standings will definitely be stable. For sure, all the beasts have come to our place, and the other teams have no beasts to kill, so why compete with us for the first place? Chen Fan laughed. Don't worry, think about the first priority after killing monsters. Attention everyone, take the Qi gathering pill. Start hunting ferocious beasts. Everyone immediately took out the Qi gathering pill and took it. The mellow and strong medicinal power rose from the abdomen, circulated in the meridians, and was quickly refined to continuously strengthen the true energy in the body. Feeling the surging true energy in the body, everyone's fighting spirit is passionate and their morale is soaring. The Qi gathering pill without erysipelas is really extraordinary. I feel like I can hit 10. Kill, kill, kill. Kill all the beasts. All the points are ours. Everyone in Wuyong City rushed down from the top of the mountain, heading straight for a blood-eyed golden rhino halfway up the mountain. The blood-eyed golden rhinoceros is a first-order monster, with a pair of small red eyes that are blinking with blood. Its skin is light golden, which is where its name comes from. This kind of light golden skin gave the blood-eyed golden rhinoceros a strong defense. The crazy blood-eyed golden rhino stopped vigilantly when he saw a large group of people rushing towards it. It snorted furiously, its thick hooves kept grinding on the ground, its eyes were staring straight at the top of the mountain. Obviously it only wanted to rush to the top of the mountain, and pursue the fragrance that made it so intoxicating. But the group of humans in front of him blocked it, making it have to stop, which made it extremely angry. Chen Fan shouted loudly, "Roaming attack! Don't take it hard!" Excited, excited, everyone in Wuyong City dispersed, surrounded the blood-eyed golden rhinoceros, and greeted it with various moves. The crowd kept wandering, retreating with one blow, extremely flexible. The blood-eyed golden rhino rushed left and right, the sharp long horns on its head arched back and forth, but it didn't hurt anyone for a long time. With the blessing of Chen Fan's elixir, everyone can spend their true energy as much as they want, without worrying about not having enough true energy. Their bodies were full of true energy, and their moves were infused with strong true energy, and their moves were wide open and closed, extremely domineering. In fact, when martial artists fight, it is very important to use their true energy efficiently. It is impossible to use all their strength. After all, the amount of true energy is limited, and what is important is the combination of virtual and real, and the strength is just right. The current style of play of everyone in Wuyong City is powerful, but they don't particularly pay attention to skills. If you are fighting other martial arts masters, this style of fighting is meaningless, it is purely a waste of true energy. But this way of fighting is perfect for dealing with fierce beasts who have no skills and only rely on instinct to fight. At this time, everyone in Wuyong City, using this style of fighting, can be said to have increased their combat power dramatically. However, the result is not very optimistic. The blood-eyed golden rhino's defense is too strong. Most of the people in Wuyong City are warriors in the early stage, there are not many in the middle stage, and there are even a few people in the late stage of martial arts, and their combat power is actually relatively limited. Even with the blessing of the elixir, the combat power has been greatly improved, but it is still not enough to look at the defensive power of the blood-eyed golden rhinoceros. Everyone output a meal, but the blood-eyed golden rhinoceros only got a few scars. The injuries were pitiful, but it caused the blood-eyed golden rhino to be irritated, which greatly increased the pressure on everyone. Chen Fan watched the battle carefully from outside the crowd, and he had already discovered this problem. Although the blood-eyed golden rhinoceros moves slowly and clumsily, its defense is ridiculously strong, and it is really difficult to deal with. Although the blood-eyed golden rhinoceros would be vulnerable to a single blow if he made a move himself, Chen Fan did not plan to make a move for the time being. As a captain, one of the important responsibilities is to guide the growth of the team members and do everything by themselves. What is the significance of the captain's position? Chen Fan's eyes were like lightning, and his eyes scanned the blood-eyed golden rhino's huge body back and forth, trying to find its weak point. Taking advantage of the blood-eyed golden rhino's inattention, a member of the team launched a sneak attack from behind it and slashed at its tail. But the defensive power on the tail is also surprisingly strong. This knife cut out sparks. The blade tilted and scratched through the gap between the tail and the body. The blood-eyed golden rhinoceros suddenly let out a loud roar, and rushed wildly. Chen Fan's eyes lit up. Found its weakness. He immediately opened his mouth and shouted. Attack the slit of its tail, that's its weak point. Everyone in Wuyang City was refreshed, and when they took a closer look, their complexions suddenly became strange. The tail is sewed here, isn't that a chrysanthemum? Hold the grass, let us attack here. Brother Fan, you are so wretched. Liang Yu, who was standing beside Chen Fan, also looked over with a strange expression, hesitating to speak. Feng Zheng is a curious baby, if you don't understand, you should ask. What is a chrysanthemum? Chen Fan pretended not to hear Feng Zheng's question, and said to his team members angrily. This is killing a beast. Do you want to talk about etiquette with it? Do it quickly. Everyone laughed and started to attack immediately. The situation immediately changed dramatically. The weakest part of the blood-eyed golden rhinoceros was constantly being attacked, and it immediately became panicked. It rushes from left to right, turning around in circles, but it can't escape at all. The attacks of everyone are endless, and it penetrates every hole. After a while, the blood-eyed golden rhino crashed to the ground. The crowd burst into cheers immediately. Success! This is the first beast we hunted. Although the blood-eyed golden rhinoceros is only a tier 1 beast, its defense is too strong and it is very difficult to kill. Fortunately, Brother Fan has seen through its weakness, so we can kill it so quickly. Brother Fan commanded properly. He has the talent of a general. Wow, look, there are 200 points. When everyone heard this, they took out their point badges one after another, and after seeing it, they were overjoyed. So many points. Actually, it's normal. After all, the blood-eyed golden rhinoceros is too difficult to kill. If it weren't for Brother Fan, it wouldn't be so easy for us to kill it. Chen Fan urged. Don't be merry, these points are nothing, there are still a lot of beasts, hurry up, don't waste time. When everyone in Wuyang City was hunting the blood-eyed golden rhino just now, a large group of beasts rushed to the top of the mountain from all directions. Some ferocious beasts even passed not far from everyone. But they don't. Paying attention to the people who were fighting fiercely with the blood-eyed golden rhinoceros, with fanaticism in their eyes, they went straight to the bonfire burning with crimson pills on the top of the mountain. Everyone in Wuyang City returned to the top of the mountain, preparing to use their attacks to attract a fierce beast to come down and hunt it down. On the top of the mountain, dozens of ferocious beasts have already gathered. These ferocious beasts sniffed the scent constantly coming out of the bonfire, and wanted to monopolize the bonfire. They bared their teeth and threatened each other for a while, and then immediately began to fight. All of a sudden, there were roars and screams on the top of the mountain, and a group of ferocious beasts beat up the dust, and the sky was dark. Everyone in Wuyang City. Well, there is no room for them to intervene now. At this time, a stone-armed giant ape with a height of more than 3 meters and an extremely strong body was rushing up from the bottom of the mountain. Swoosh, swoosh. The stone-armed giant ape stared straight at the top of the mountain with its red eyes. While running wildly, it also let out a hasty and excited cry. Everyone immediately set their sights on it. Get rid of this stone-armed giant ape first. The figures of the people flickered, and immediately dispersed, forming an encircling circle. The stone-armed giant ape didn't notice it, and slammed into the encirclement. Chen Fan shouted loudly, "Walk through the fork. Attack its arms, eyes, knees, back of the head. These are its weak points." The fighting power of the stone-armed giant ape is mainly in its pair of arms. Its arms are almost as long as its entire body, long and thick, with knotted muscles and extremely strong strength. With a single slap, it can smash the hard Qingxi rock into pieces. But its pair of stone arms has a weak point, and the defense of the arm bend is relatively weak. Hearing Chen Fan's order, everyone in Wuyang City immediately flickered, swam quickly around the stone-armed giant ape, and greeted several weak points of it at the right time. Ho 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 ho! The stone-armed giant ape uttered an angry roar, running east and west. A pair of giant pillar-like arms swept around, bringing the sound of howling wind, and its power was astonishing. However, under Chen Fan's precise command, the crowd constantly changed their formation and positions, and each time they detected the attack intention of the stone-armed giant ape in advance, and easily avoided it. The stone-armed giant ape is powerful, but its defense is a bit weak. Under the ferocious attack infused with powerful true energy, the stone-armed giant ape became scarred and its aura gradually began to weaken after a while. Chen Fan stood outside the encirclement with two beauties, Liang Yu and Feng Zheng. Seeing that the giant ape was getting weak, Chen Fan spoke up to cheer everyone up. Everyone, work harder. Make it quick, don't give it a chance to recover. Before everyone had time to respond, suddenly, a mutant appeared. The stone-armed giant ape let out a violent roar, jumped up high suddenly, and jumped towards Chen Fan. From the looks of it, it could be seen that Chen Fan was the leader of this group of people, and he was the longest threat to himself. The giant ape belongs to the primate category, its appearance is more human-like, and its intelligence is considered high among fierce beasts. If it is replaced by other fierce beasts, most of them will not be so smart. Seeing the giant ape jumping towards Chen Fan, everyone in Wuyong City subconsciously exclaimed. Brother Fan, be careful. Brother Fan, get out of the way. Chen Fan looked at the stone-armed giant ape that was leaping towards him, with a sharp look in his eyes. Hee, do you think you died too slowly? He was about to make a move. Swish, a vigorous arrow has been shot from his side. This arrow is powerful and heavy, but its speed is as fast as thunder, piercing the air and causing bursts of explosions. Puff, the gray shadow flashed, and the arrow pierced into the giant ape's knee without hindrance, like a piece of tofu, and penetrated directly. The huge force on the arrow instantly broke the stone-armed giant ape's jumping momentum. It should have landed on its feet, but instead landed on its face. Boom! The stone-armed giant ape threw its 5 bodies to the ground, and smashed in front of Chen Fan. The corners of Chen Fan's mouth twitched, and when he turned his head, Liang Yu was holding a longbow that was lingering with spiritual light, and was aiming at the stone-armed giant ape that fell on the ground, and was about to shoot again. Her face was a little pale, and it seemed that the arrow just now consumed her quite a lot. I'll come, I'll come. It was Feng Zheng's excited voice. The next moment, boom, the air waves are lacing, the dust is flying. Chen Fan was startled and turned his head to look. The stone-armed giant ape has lost all breath. On its head, there is a 1-meter-long war hammer with a domineering and vicious shape embedded in it. Feng Zheng was standing proudly on the head of the stone-armed giant ape, with one hand on his hip, his small face was full of contempt. HMPH. Vulnerable. Chen Fan. Everyone in Wuyong City. In the official base of the Zhongbei training camp, in the control room. Looking at the picture on the big monitoring screen, a group of big shots were stunned. Is that okay too? Wuyong City's team this year is really hard to describe. Don't tell me, this team in Wuyong City is very fierce. The fighting power shown is much stronger than the data on the data. They are blessed with elixir, and the captain named Chen Fan is also very strong in command, so it's normal to have such a performance. Tisk tisk tisk, looking at this trend, Wuyong City may become a dark horse this year. Zhou Shuming of Linkang City suddenly stood up straight and shouted angrily. What's the matter? Chen Fan didn't do it himself, but exchanged points with pills. Isn't that obviously cheating? Yang Xuans looked at this old enemy with a smile. His expression was calm, compared with Zhou Shuming, who was anxious and pale. He looked particularly hateful, making people itch. Hey, how can this be called cheating? You have to know that the selection assessment is for the team, not for the individual. Chen Fan provides pills to strengthen the team's combat effectiveness, and the other players share points with him. Isn't this obviously a cooperation within the team? If you even take care of this, be careful when others scold you for stretching your hands too long. Zhou Shuming's face turned blue and then pale, his eyes turned sharply, and he was thinking about how to refute this statement. Yang Xuans would not give him a chance, and immediately said. Why do many assessments in the Zhongbei training camp have to be conducted in the form of teams? Isn't it to cultivate the ability of the juniors to unite and cooperate? On the battlefield of the heavens, no matter how strong an individual is, unless he is as strong as Lord Martial God, if he only knows how to fight alone, he will probably not be able to accomplish anything, and he will easily be crushed to pieces by the endless monsters of all races. Brother Joe, do you think I'm right? Zhou Shuming's face was gloomy and he didn't say a word. He was speechless by Yang Xuance's words, and he didn't know how to refute for a while. Yang Xuance's complexion changed, and his temperament instantly became cold and stern. A powerful aura that had been battle-tested suppressed the audience, making everyone tremble and a little out of breath. He stared at Zhou Shuming indifferently, and his tone was meaningful. Brother Joe, you don't approve of the cooperation between my students in Wuyang City. Do you think that my martial arts people should fight alone to be a true hero, and those who stick together are cowards? When such a big hat was buckled down, Zhou Shuming's forehead was sweating immediately, and he stammered to explain. How could I think so when I'm 16? Yang Xuance's fierce aura suddenly dissipated, and he returned to the gentle old Yang before. He smiled and patted Zhou Shuming's shoulder. I know that you care too much about your team, and if you care about it, it will be messy. But you have to be upright in the competition. If you can't compare with others, try to make up for it. You can't say that you can't do it, so you don't allow others to do it. This is a rascal, don't you think? Zhou Shuming only felt as if someone had slapped his face flushed red, and his eyes were ashamed and angry. Yang Xuance withdrew his hand, his gaze swept over Zhou Shuming's face. His face was calm, but there was an obvious pride in his eyes. Cool, so cool, ha 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 ha. Before being ridiculed by this guy every year, I can finally feel proud this year. This feeling of revenge is really wonderful. The expression on this guy's face is really cool to see. Yang Xuance looked at Chen Fan on the surveillance screen, and the more he watched, the more satisfied he became. This little guy has ridiculously high talent, is smart, has means, and has a strong talent for commanding. He is really a terrific talent. Such a monstrous genius, you can't let others take it away. In the future, I will find an opportunity to abduct him to my northern army. In the mountains, everyone in Wuyang City watched the stone-armed giant ape being smashed to death by Feng Zheng, and it took a while to recover. Holding the grass, why is Xiao Fengzheng so violent? Wow, such a violent little loli, so interesting. Look, we earned another 300 points. Everyone took out their point badges to see, and they were overjoyed. The stone-armed giant ape gave so many points. My points are 340, a little more than yours. We all have 500 or 600 points now. Half of the passing goal has been completed. According to this speed, the first place in the standings must be ours. Feng Zheng dragged a warhammer that was longer than himself, held his points badge, and ran to Chen Fan with pride on his small face. Look, Chen Fan, big brother. I have more than 500 points. Chen Fan rubbed her little head with a smile. Zheng is really powerful. The former stone-armed giant ape was only seriously injured, and it was far from death. Feng Zheng smashed it to death with a hammer, and contributed the most, so she got more than 500 points. It has to be said that the distribution of points is still very fair and reasonable. Liang Yu also looked at Feng Zheng with some admiration. Zheng is so powerful, I only have more than 400 points. Seeing that Sister Yueyu's points were not as high as her own, Feng Zheng became even more proud, and her face raised, frightened. I'm a majestic tigress. Uhu. Liang Yu. Chen Fan covered his face. Tired, destroy it. A boy looked at his points badge, scratched his head, and said thoughtfully. It seems to be quite easy to earn points. As soon as these words came out, the people who were discussing points suddenly looked at him with strange expressions. It's so easy, do you think the beast is so easy to kill? If it weren't for Brother Fan's precise command, most of us would have died at the hands of the beast right now. It's really simple for you to think. That's right, thanks to Brother Fan's commanding from the sidelines, I escaped several times of attacks from ferocious beasts. I didn't expect those attacks at all. If Brother Fan hadn't reminded me, I would probably have been seriously injured. After being scolded by his teammates, the man was very wrong. When I said it was easy, I meant that it was so easy with Brother Fan directing us. I'm only in the late stage of martial arts, am I so ignorant? Everyone rolled their eyes. Then you don't speak clearly. I thought that you and we killed 2 ferocious beasts and then floated away. I thought I could do it. Chen Fan saw that the team almost had internal strife because of a sentence that he didn't say clearly, and came over to persuade him a little dumbfounded. It's okay, it's just a small misunderstanding, don't talk about him. After killing 2 monsters in a row, everyone is tired. Do you want to take a rest first? Everyone in Wuyang City was full of fighting spirit, shaking their heads one after another. No need to rest, no need to rest, my condition is still good. I am very full of energy, and it is no problem to kill 2 or 3 fierce beasts. That's right, the chi gathering pill made by Brother Fan is very useful. There is no erysipelas, and you don't need to meditate to refine it. When you kill a beast, mobilize the true energy, and the medicinal power will be automatically refined, and the true energy will be continuously restored. It's almost as if you can't run out of energy. The chi gathering pill without erysipelas is really too strong. It's a priceless item. Chen Fan nodded. All right then, let's continue hunting the beasts. Someone suddenly remembered. Oh, by the way, Brother Fan, didn't we decide to use the points to exchange for pills? How many points do we have to pay you back for the chi gathering pill you gave us? Everyone was reminded by him, and they all said, that's right, Brother Fan, how many points do you need? I'll pay you back the points I owe first. Regarding the price of the elixir, Chen Fan had already thought about it clearly, and he said with a smile. 50 points per person. Everyone was shocked. Only 50 points. So cheap. Hold the grass. I thought at least 300 to 500 points, 50 points. What's the difference between this and free gifts? Brother Fan, don't sell us pills at a loss just because we are teammates. Yeah, my brother is still clear about it. Such a precious top-grade pill is like giving it away for free. I feel guilty when I eat it. Seeing that the team members are so sincerely thinking about themselves, and they are afraid of losing money, Chen Fan felt warm in his heart. He waved his hands and said with a smile, I have estimated that the price of 50 points is really not profitable, but it is not a loss. It is basically the cost price. We are all from Wuyang City, my own brothers, no matter what, I can't make money from you, can I? The team members looked at me and I looked at you, and they were all moved. Chen Fan suddenly laughed. You don't have to worry about my work being wasted. 50 points are the internal price for my brothers, and they are sold to people from other teams, but that's not the price. After entering the training camp, there is no place to buy the pills if you want them. I'm the only one. Let's see if I don't kill them hard. Everyone suddenly burst into laughter. Yes, kill him. Anyway, you are opponents, so don't be polite to them. I'm going, can it still be like this? Why didn't I think of it? Brother Fan's thinking is really open. Chen Fan glanced into the distance, and said with a smile. Look, the person who gave me money and points came. Everyone turned their heads to see that several teams were rushing towards this side quickly. These teams came in front of everyone in Wuyang City, saw the corpses of the blood-eyed golden rhinoceros and the stone-armed giant ape on the ground, and looked at the group of fierce beasts still huddled together on the top of the mountain. They stared angrily at everyone in Wuyang City, and cursed. It's despicable. Did you use a pill that can attract beasts? This is cheating. I will report it to the examiner. Let her deprive you of your grades. The assessment must rely on your own ability, and you can't rely on external forces. Don't you know this rule? You are done, and you must all get 0 points for being selected for the assessment. HMPH, I am here to congratulate you in advance. The captain of a team looked up to the top of the mountain for a while, and stared fiercely at the people in Wuyang City. What the hell, we managed to find a ferocious beast. After beating it for a long time, it was about to be killed. It was lured away by you with pills. It is really shameless. Return the beast to us. No, then a ferocious beast has already been killed by other ferocious beasts, then you pay us points. Everyone in Wuyang City immediately cursed. Who are you? Are you going to pay if you say you will? Which city's team are you from? How arrogant. The man raised his chin in disdain, and proudly said. I am Zhang Hao from Guangming City. You Wuyang City is at the bottom every time, want to turn around and think crazy. You actually started cheating. Don't talk nonsense, quickly pay us the points. 300 points per person. There was a stern look in Chen Fan's eyes, and he walked over slowly, staring at the person who spoke coldly. Give you points. Are you here to blackmail? Looking at the imposing Chen Fan, Zhang Hao was not afraid, instead he sneered. What, you want to fight? It's up to you. You think I don't know your details? How dare you show off in front of me when you're a weakling in the mid-warrior stage? His expression sank, and his aura rose to the sky. What a frog in a well, I don't know what a real strong man is. Before the words fell, Chen Fan moved instantly. The people present only felt a blur before their eyes, and then heard a muffled sound. Boom! In the next moment, Zhang Hao, who was so imposing, flew upside down as if he was hit head-on by a high-speed train. Zhang Hao was in midair, so he was silent. He flew upside down more than 10 meters away, and fell to the ground like a rag bag, his body twisted at an abnormal angle, motionless. Looking at it like this, even if he is not dead, he is probably crippled. Everyone in Wuyang City applauded loudly. Good fight, Brother Fan. This kind of person, you don't need to reason with him, it's best to talk about fists. The students of several teams watched this scene dumbfounded, with angry and apprehensive faces. Chen Fan glanced over, they just felt their hearts tremble, and they felt cold instantly. These people, you look at me, I look at you, wisely shut their mouths tightly. Chen Fan said coldly. Who said just now that the people in Wuyang City are relying on external forces? There was complete silence, and the students in several teams were silent, not even daring to meet Chen Fan's eyes. Chen Fan took out his second-grade alchemist badge, pinned it to his chest, raised his finger and tapped it. Did you see that? I'm a second-rank alchemist, and I rely on my own strength to make alchemy. Is this an external force, or is it an internal cooperation with my team members? Please figure it out. Everyone stared at the alchemist badge on Chen Fan's chest in shock, dumbfounded. What? A second-grade alchemist? Hold the grass. Is it true? He is a mid-stage warrior, plus a second-rank alchemist. This talent is a bit enchanting. Seeing that Chen Fan started to reason with them, and he didn't intend to do anything, someone boldly murmured. But we are all evaluating based on our own martial arts strength, you. Chen Fan hooked the corner of his mouth, glanced at the person who said this, and said lightly. Unconvinced? Then you also make alchemy yourself. Don't worry, no one will stop you. Chen Fan pointed to the sky. Each of our teams is under surveillance in the training camp. If you can't make alchemy by yourself, the examiner will have stopped me a long time ago. Why do you need to report it to her? Everyone was suddenly speechless. Chen Fan glanced at these people for a few moments, and suddenly his demeanor changed. The cold expression on his face instantly faded away, and he put on a gentle face. Have you ever thought that different teams can actually cooperate? You know, in previous training camps, it was very common for different teams to cooperate to cope with various assessments. Everyone vaguely understood something, and their eyes gradually brightened. Chen Fan made the preparations and showed his fox tail. Now, I also give you a chance to cooperate with me. I will provide you with pills to enhance your combat power and help you gain more points. You only need to use money or points in return. There was a sudden commotion among the crowd, and the expressions on their faces were greatly moved. They whispered to each other, whispering, "This seems to be good. With the pill, we can recover our true energy quickly, and killing monsters will be much easier." Chen Fan's eyes flashed, and he added another heavyweight with a smile. You know, the elixirs I make are all top-grade elixirs without erysipelas. They don't need to meditate to refine, and can be taken in battle. The crowd burst into an uproar. Hold the grass. No erysipelas. This is a big deal. No, we must not miss this top-quality pill. Yes, 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 if we don't buy it, others will definitely buy it, so they will lag behind others. The crowd rushed towards Chen Fan immediately. I want. Sell me a few. Chen Fan raised his hand and pressed down, signaling for everyone to be quiet. Don't worry, let me talk about the specific cooperation conditions first. The first-grade Qi Gathering pill is 500,000 pieces, or 200 points, and the second-grade Peiyuan pill is 1 million pieces, or 400 points. I don't have many pills, first come, first served. The crowd burst into an uproar. Hold the grass. Are you too dark? I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.